Chapter 5114. Lin Fei had been paying attention to the development of the situation the whole time. In fact, Lin Fei didn't even need to do anything to know what the situation was like. He could already see clearly that his registered disciple, Bai Ruyu, was quite stubborn, and she was quite fierce when she attacked. She was fighting the Bai family head-on. However, the current situation was very disadvantageous to him. Although Bai Ruyu also had many treasures that could make her whereabouts unpredictable, the Bai family was still quite capable. This was because the head of the Bai family in this generation was actually an 8-star peak existence. This kind of strength was neither strong nor weak. At the very least, it could be considered a domineering existence in this area. Moreover, this world of massacre was not quite the same as other worlds. It was also a high-level world, so it was quite difficult to deal with the Bai family. If nothing went wrong, Bai Ruyu would soon face them. When that time came, the Bai family would inevitably face a great massacre. Lin Fei had to see how long Bai Ruyu could last, and how long her strength could improve. As long as there was no danger, he would definitely not make a move. Half a month later, Bai Ruyu finally faced the Bai family completely, because the Bai family had used some tricks this time. It seemed like they had waited for someone, but when Bai Ruyu made a move, they suddenly showed their true colors and immediately put Bai Ruyu in a passive position. Then the hidden experts also showed up one after another. So it really is you, Bai Ruyu. You are very bold. You didn't find a place to hide, but you actually dared to come back to take revenge. You are dead today. This was Bai Mu, a high-ranking member of the Bai family. His strength was around 7-star, and he had just broken through not long ago. When he saw that Bai Ruyu was only a 5-star divine master, he naturally didn't take her seriously. Moreover, there were also 4-star and 5-star people around, so it was only natural that he would take down Bai Ruyu. However, when they exchanged blows, Bai Mu discovered that Bai Ruyu was much more terrifying than he had imagined. Streaks of bloody light flowed continuously, causing these 4- and 5-star divine masters to be unable to resist at all, and they all collapsed in a pool of blood. Even he himself was in a sorry state at the beginning. Since you've awakened your bloodline, I can't tolerate your existence anymore. If it was any other situation, the higher-ups of the Bai family wouldn't care. But now that Bai Ruyu had awakened her bloodline, her future was limitless. Now that he had returned to the Bai family, it was obvious that he was here to train the entire Bai family. Outsiders might not know, but they did. He absolutely could not allow Bai Ruyu to continue growing. Fortunately, Bai Mu was a 7-star martial artist. Bai Ruyu was a 5-star. If they really fought, he would have a certain advantage. It's not that easy to deal with me. There was a loud bang. Bai Ruyu unleashed all of his strength. His treasures, in addition to this secret attack, instantly reached the 6-star level. He was actually fighting Bai Mu, a 7-star divine master from the Bai family. Although he seemed to be at a disadvantage, he wasn't really at a disadvantage. On the contrary, his opponent was gradually at a disadvantage. The injuries on Bai Ruyu's body were increasing, and the injuries on Bai Mu's body were also increasing. The more Bai Mu fought, the more apprehensive he became. As the number of injuries on his body increased, he finally realized how terrifying Bai Ruyu was. If this continued, the entire Bai family wouldn't be able to withstand Bai Ruyu's attacks. Boom! An array diagram quietly opened, and a huge ball of blood appeared in the void. The higher-ups of the Bai family were only 7-star martial artists. When they saw this eye, they instantly fell into a momentary stagnation, and the entire void froze. Then they were killed by Bai Ruyu. This was the strongest treasure that Bai Ruyu could currently use. Blood God's Eye. This was an 8-star treasure. Once it was used, it would be able to explode with an 8-star technique. And the simplest technique of this 8-star was to lock down the void. This was not something that anyone could withstand. At the very least, this 7-star higher-up of the Bai family couldn't withstand it at all. This is the first higher-up of the Bai family. Soon, there will be a second and a third. With one less higher-up of the Bai family, there was naturally a lot of movement. When they came over to check, Bai Ruyu came out again. This time, she directly faced two higher-ups of the Bai family alone. They were both 7-star martial artists. This time, Bai Ruyu was seriously injured, but she still managed to kill the two of them as she wished. This time, 3 of them had died in one go, and the Bai family's family head was furious on the spot. Bai Ruyu, you are courting death. Do you really think that I can't find you? Chapter 51:15. Such a massacre was naturally not a small matter. The Bai family had already lost quite a number of experts, causing many people to turn their attention to the Bai family. Back then, when the Bai family was glorious, it was indeed not a glorious thing for a side branch to jump out. Now that the main branch of the Bai family had found their way here, their first move was a thunderous blow, killing many of the Bai family's higher-ups. It was really a huge slap in the face. Many people had heard of this Bai Ruyu. She was the descendant of the massacre Protoss. After so many years, such a powerful character had appeared. The only thing that made them feel inconceivable was that this Bai Ruyu was truly courageous. He had actually come out again. They heard that she had been captured previously, but in the end she ran away again. It seemed that she was involved with another force. Therefore, many people paid attention, wanting to see who exactly was standing behind this Bai Ruyu. The slaughtering universe today was not the slaughtering universe of the past. Bai Ruyu's appearance naturally caused a commotion. Bai Nu also saw the person arranged by the higher-ups. It was a middle-aged man who was very cold. You guys are too useless. Just one Bai Ruyu caused such a huge commotion, and so many of your Bai family's disciples died. The higher-ups are very dissatisfied with your way of doing things, so they arranged for me to come here. Wu Hu said, coldly. No one cared more about this Bai Ruyu than he did. This was because the higher-ups had named her to capture this Bai Ruyu. Only by capturing her could they find out who exactly was standing behind her. Many people guessed that some forces in the slaughtering universe had colluded with Bai Ruyu to prepare a subversive operation. If it was someone else, it wouldn't matter. However, this Bai Ruyu's words were different. Of course, Bai Nu didn't dare to say much. The person in front of him was someone arranged by the higher-ups, and he himself was a 9-stars existence. I'll listen to everything you say, sir. What will we do? Immediately gather the Bai family's experts. I'll personally find this person. With Wu Hua's order, the entire Bai family was mobilized. Bai Nu naturally obeyed the order. He mobilized a lot of experts from the Bai clan. There were as many as 40 to 50 of them. Together with Wu Hua, they chased after Bai Ruyu. This commotion was seen by many people, including Lin Fei. He was not surprised by this at all. He knew it from the moment this Wu Hua expert came over. This time, the higher-ups must have made a move, but they didn't expect that a Bai Ruyu would make them move. He even arranged for a 9-stars powerhouse to come over. The 9-stars Divine Master was only an early-stage Divine Master, but his strength could not be ignored. Let's see how far Bai Ruyu can go this time. Lin Fei was more or less looking forward to it. He believed that Bai Ruyu would not let him down this time. He controlled the Tenjin Temple to follow them. With the help of a treasure, Wu Hua chased all the way out. Finally, they arrived at a mountain range. This place wasn't very far from the Bai clan city. It was only a few 100,000 miles away, but it was precisely this place that Bai Nu hated very much. It was no wonder that his people couldn't find any traces of Bai Ruyu hiding in such a place. This Bai Ruyu really had some tricks up her sleeve. Wu Hua waved his hand, and a large array was instantly set up. The void rippled and locked onto a small area. Then a voice drifted over. That Bai Ruyu is right here. You can make your move now. Wu Hua didn't plan to make a move directly. Instead, he let Bai Nu do it. Bai Nu naturally knew that he had to be the vanguard. Thus, he led his people, activated his treasure, and launched one attack after another. He didn't care about the consequences at all. He had to chase Bai Ruyu out first. The rumbling caused the void to ripple. However, the commotion didn't spread outside. And Bai Ruyu, who had been cultivating in seclusion, also rushed out. The treasure had a strong penetrative ability. Even if she didn't want to come out, the layers of penetrative ability of the treasure made her realize that she had been found. I was wondering who it was. It turns out that you finally found me. I've been waiting for you for a long time. Bai Nu, you traitor! As soon as Bai Ruyu came out, she saw Bai Nu, who was the leader. He used to be the leader of the collateral branch of the Bai clan. It turns out that it's really you, Bai Ruyu. You didn't find a place to hide. How dare you kill my Bai clan's people? You don't have to leave today. I've already set up a large array here. Let's see how long you can last. Bai Nu's whole face was full of anger and resentment. It was this guy who made the Bai clan lose face again. Everyone was laughing at the Bai clan. So many people couldn't catch Bai Ruyu. The experts of the Bai clan, who had been behind her, all attacked in an instant. They were also full of anger. If they didn't catch Bai Ruyu, the Bai clan would be a joke. The higher-ups would be greatly disappointed in the Bai clan. In the future, anyone could come and trample on them. Chapter 51:16. The people from the Bai family attacked. The weakest of them was a 7-star expert. Of course, there were also some 8-star experts. Although they wouldn't kill Bai Ruyu this time, they would definitely injure her severely, as long as one of them was left alive. After they attacked, Bai Ruyu also attacked. Compared to some time ago, Bai Ruyu's strength had a great breakthrough. She actually broke through from the 5-star level to the 6-star level. Her moves became even more terrifying. Streaks of blood-colored flowing light shuttled back and forth. She actually withstood the attacks of these people alone. Although she was injured, these 7-star and 8-star experts also felt a certain sense of danger. They had underestimated the power of Bai Ruyu. How can Bai Ruyu be so strong? Bai Nu had been observing. He also wanted to see how powerful Bai Ruyu was. Her moves were actually at the 6-star level. After using the secret technique, her strength increased rapidly. In the blink of an eye, she reached the peak of 6-star and could use the combat power of 7-star. Most importantly, many of these secret techniques were not learned by Bai Nu. They were the so-called top-notch techniques that only Bai Nu knew when he killed the Lord God in the past. Now, there would be experts from the Bai family dying every time she used her supernatural power. 1 7-star, 2 7-star, 3 7-star. For 7-star, one by one, the experts fell one after another. There were wounds on Bai Ruyu's body. She seemed to have walked out of a pool of blood. Even so, Bai Ruyu was still using her supernatural power, killing the experts from the Bai family in fear. Didn't the Bai family want to kill me? Do you want to capture me alive? How dare you come here with such little strength? Bai Nu, do it yourself. They can't do it. When I kill them all, you will be a commander without an army. Bai Ruyu's eyes were very cold and her face was very pale. She kept using her secret technique. Her moves became extremely ruthless, but her eyes never left Bai Nu. She even revealed a cruel smile. Swoosh! An 8-star expert was directly beaten to the ground. Bai Ruyu was also seriously injured, but she was still holding on. Bai Nu's eyes turned red. The divine masters that he had lost were the elites of the Bai clan, the pillars of the Bai clan. He would be heartbroken if even one of them died. Now that they were dying one after another, the Bai family's strength was greatly damaged. Even if they managed to take down Bai Ruyu, the Bai family would be completely affected. He would lose at least 2/3 of his strength, the strength of the entire family. Not far away, Wu Hua stared at Bai Ruyu. He was very impressed by her mystic arts. Bai Ruyu's main bloodline's pride indeed had limitless potential. Fortunately, he had come. If he had relied on the Bai family's methods alone, it would have been impossible to take down Bai Ruyu. Perhaps the entire Bai family would be wiped out by him. It's better if you do it. They can't withstand my attacks at all. Only you can fill me with motivation. Another 8-star expert was sent flying. It was full of scars. His entire person immediately collapsed. By family head, since he wants to fight with you so much, you should fight with him. Those people alone won't be able to take him down. At this moment, Wu Hu could naturally tell that although Bai Ruyu was full of scars, her injuries were a little serious, and she seemed to be an arrow at the end of its flight. This guy seemed to have mastered many top-notch techniques, and the others weren't a match for him at all. Therefore, Bai Nu was the most suitable person to take action at this moment. It's indeed regretful that I didn't kill you back then. Today, I'll fulfill your wish. At the very least, I'll cripple you completely. All the mystic arts that you mastered belong to the Bai family. It's just the right time to hand them over at once. Bai Nu exploded, and the other Bai family experts retreated. They were already terrified. Even though Bai Ruyu was injured, the combat power that she erupted with was too strong. She crushed them with all kinds of techniques, and they couldn't compare at all. Looking at the 7-star and 8-star experts being killed one by one, they naturally didn't have the courage to continue fighting. It was only when the family head took action that they finally regained a little bit of confidence. You. No way. Of course, Bai Nu wanted to take down Bai Ruyu as soon as possible and take away all her belongings. If they were to hand over Bai Ruyu, it would be unknown whether they could obtain these methods at that time. Swoosh! In the void, a huge eye emerged. With a swoosh, it penetrated Bai Nu's body. Bai Nu didn't expect that there would be such a powerful technique in such a short period of time. This technique was very terrifying, reaching the level of 9 stars. The power of this technique caused Bai Nu to be seriously injured. Even Wu Hua, who was far away, couldn't help in time. He could only watch Bai Lu being seriously injured. Bai Ruyu, how dare you play tricks? The error-free chapter of Invincible Leveling King will continue to be updated in the new C-Book Pavilion. There will be no advertisements on the website. Please collect and recommend the new C-Book Pavilion. Those who like the Invincible Leveling King, please collect. The Invincible Leveling King New Book Pavilion is the fastest to update. Chapter 5117. Bai Nu was indeed caught off guard. The power of this treasure was extremely strong, and he was severely injured in an instant. Even Wu Hua, who was far away, had to admit that. Bai Ruyu's means were indeed endless. She could still exert such powerful strength when she was seriously injured. No wonder she dared to go against the Bai family alone. Fortunately, he was here this time. Bai family head, your performance disappointed me. You can't even take down such a person. Let me do it myself. Wu Hua shook his head in disappointment. Initially, he wanted to let Bai Nu test the limits of Bai Ruyu. Now, it seemed that he could only do it himself. I still have the strength to fight. Let me try one more time. One more time. I will definitely be able to take her down. Bai Nu was anxious instantly. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Beams of cold light penetrated from below. There was blood at the corner of Bai Nu's mouth, and his face turned paler. At this moment, she actually used her means again. This was Bai Ruyu's means again. It seems that you don't have any chance to make a move now. Let me do it. You really disappoint me. Wu Hua waved his hand. Bai Nu rolled out directly. He rolled more than 10 rounds before he stopped. He seemed to be on the verge of death. Although Bai Ruyu's method was simple, its power was boundless. It wasn't something that anyone could withstand. You're really amazing. You have such strength at such a young age, and you can use all kinds of means to unleash 7-star means. You can even seriously injure an 8-star. I really underestimated you. Wu Hua stretched out a hand. As soon as he stretched out his hand, his 5 fingers were like pillars, shaking the void. You'd better obediently come with me now. The gap between us is too big. You're far from being my opponent. As soon as he made his move, Bai Ruyu realized that the gap between him and his opponent was indeed very, very large. Bai Ruyu could seriously injure Bai Nu because of her negligence. If she was prepared, it wouldn't be so easy for Bai Ruyu. Bai Ryu wasn't someone who would give up so easily. It's not that easy for you to catch me. Bai Ryu used her technique again. This time, her technique was even more powerful than before. She blocked the 5 fingers one after another. The huge eye also appeared. Might was also struck down by this hand. A gap is a gap. You will never be able to imagine how far the gap between us is. You will never be able to defeat me. Wu Hua had seen it clearly just now. This Bai Ryu's means were indeed quite powerful, but it wasn't to the extent that he was afraid of. Now Bai Ryu was seriously injured. As his palm moved lower and lower, the space became smaller and smaller. In the end, Bai Ryu would fall into Wu Hua's palm. This was Wu Hua's mystique. Heaven and earth palm. This move wasn't something that just anyone could block. To use such a move against Bai Ryu, it could be said that he had taken a liking to Bai Ryu. Bai Ryu's moves became more and more ferocious. Her body was covered in blood. Her breathing became more and more labored, and her face became paler and paler. He continued to unleash his full strength. Even Wu Hua had to admit that this Bai Ryu was really going all out. If such a person was allowed to mature, no one would be a match for her. There was a loud bang. A sea of blood instantly appeared around Bai Ryu. This sea of blood was vast and mighty. Following that, a gigantic shadow appeared. It was a huge palace. A phantom sat in the middle of the palace. When it raised its head slightly, it gave Wu Hua a huge shock. You actually comprehended the Blood Sea Palace that only the Massacre God Lord has. Others might not know the capabilities of the Blood Sea Palace, but Wu Hua knew it very well. He flicked out a flying sword and slashed over. He slashed out with his sword, not letting Bai Ryu completely grasp it. Back then, this was one of the Massacre God Lord's most powerful techniques. The moment the Blood Sea Palace opened, an endless stream of energy would pour in, allowing the opponent to maintain an invincible position. Within a certain range, everyone's blood and essence would be uncontrollably plundered by the opponent. This was the strength of the Massacre God Lord. Ever since the Massacre God Lord fell, none of his descendants had been able to comprehend the Blood Sea Palace. It was too difficult. One needed to reach the limit in order to comprehend it. At the limit, one would most likely lose their life. But now, this Bai Ryu actually managed to comprehend it. Just as the sword was about to reach the other party, it was blocked by an invisible layer of defense. Its power grew weaker and weaker, and it instantly shattered into pieces. That Bai Ryu's entire body was filled with demonic energy. The blood river surged unceasingly. It filled her back. Under my limit, I finally comprehended the Blood Sea Palace. Chapter 5118. Even Lin Fei felt rather surprised at this moment. Bai Ryu did not let him down. She actually managed to comprehend a technique that only the Slaughter God Master had under such extreme circumstances. Lin Fei had heard of this technique before. It was extremely difficult. Among the treasures that Lin Fei brought, there were some that could help one comprehend the Blood Sea Palace. As for how high the possibility was, no one knew. Bai Ryu's transformation had truly shocked Lin Fei. The moment this Blood Sea Palace opened, the surrounding area seemed to have fallen into Bai Ryu's control. Wu Hua knew this just by looking at him. Hua, hua, hua. The huge void instantly turned into a whirlpool. The injured Bai family experts could not hold on any longer. In an instant, they turned into streams of blood that flowed into the whirlpool. Following them were the other Bai family experts. In the blink of an eye, these Bai family experts were all wiped out. Even Bai Nu was unable to resist in time after holding on for a moment. He instantly turned into a pool of blood. When Bai Nu sought help, he could not do so at all. Once the whirlpool spread, he could not block it at all. Just looking at Wu Hua, who was not far away, he was also having a hard time resisting. He was still a step too late. If he had known that Bai Ryu had such thoughts, he definitely would not have been so slow. It was like a cat toying with a mouse. In the end, he had helped Bai Ruyu instead. He had really been deceived. They are all dead. Now it's your turn. The illusory figure in the Blood Sea Palace suddenly opened its eyes and cast a glance over. Wu Hu discovered that 2 streams of blood had instantly pierced through him. He was heavily injured. He was already finding it hard to hold on. With his heavy injuries, he instantly turned into a pool of blood. Without the slightest hesitation, he died immediately. After using this move, Bai Ruyu also fainted. The Blood Sea Palace behind her also disappeared. At this moment, Bai Ruyu had expended all her energy. It was already not easy for her to hold on until now. Lin Fei walked out. He reached out and grabbed Bai Ruyu, put it in the Tenjin Temple, leaving just like that after killing Wu Hua. Aren't you looking down on us a little too much? A hand stretched out from the void and grabbed at Lin Fei. The death of a 9-star expert in the bloodshed universe, coupled with the eruption of the Blood Sea Palace, naturally caused some 9-star experts to sense it. Lin Fei raised his hand and welcomed the attack. You won't be able to make a move like this. If you have the ability, come over with your true body and see if I can destroy you or not. After the palm strike, the void crumbled bit by bit, and the hand was directly repelled. Following that, Lin Fei's figure also disappeared. The fluctuations from the Blood Sea Palace spread out. Those 5 stars and 6 stars didn't notice anything at all. But those 7 stars, 8 stars, and 9 stars sensed this aura and were all moved. I seem to have sensed the aura of the Blood Sea Palace, the most powerful existence of the massacre Protoss back then. This is impossible. Could it be that someone has mastered the Blood Sea Palace? Could it be that Bai Nu? No. I just sense that Bai Nu's aura has disappeared. I also sense that Wu Hu's aura has also disappeared. Could it be that the expert from the Bai family has comprehended the Blood Sea Palace and is back? All the 8 and 9 stars experts had a change of expression. They rushed over to this place. No one was more concerned about this matter than them. At the same time, in one of the sacred grounds of a sect, a figure slowly opened his eyes. He raised his palm slightly and cracks appeared on it. Then he stood up. The Blood Sea Palace has reappeared. It seems that the remaining evil of the Bai family has finally comprehended this most powerful technique. It's a pity that they weren't able to take her down. There is a powerful expert behind her. The bloodshed universe is in trouble. The figure flashed and disappeared. When Bai Ruyu woke up, she found herself in the Tenjin Temple. Her injuries had all recovered. Since you're awake, come over. Her master's voice rang in her ears. Lin Fei sat in the courtyard. He was waiting for Bai Ruyu to come over. Bai Ruyu's injuries weren't very serious. She had treasures on her that could resist a lot of energy from seeping into her body. One could only say that the Bai family had suffered a huge blow after this battle. It wouldn't be long before they completely disappeared in the river of history. Thank you, Master. Help me treat my injuries. You've done well. I didn't expect you to comprehend the most powerful technique of the massacre Protoss. Now, you just need to fight nonstop to consolidate this technique. Lin Fei didn't have much understanding about this. However, he knew that the massacre Protoss had relied on fighting to achieve it. He also had this world of the massacre Protoss. Chapter 5119. The entire world of bloodshed had indeed become very different. The news regarding Bai Ruyu also spread out immediately. This was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that he had comprehended the divine master of massacres' strongest Blood Sea Palace back then, and could even summon that phantom image. That was the Blood Sea Palace's strongest existence. It was said that this phantom image would become extremely realistic until the day it completely walked out from the palace. That was invincible in the world. Even though it was just a rumor, no one dared to belittle it. It was because back then the divine master of massacre had relied on this phantom image to become extremely powerful. It was said that when one cultivated to the extreme, they could fuse with this phantom image and their strength would increase by leaps and bounds, turning into a truly terrifying existence. The entire world of bloodshed also started to take action. Many people were searching for this Bai Ruyu. Even if they had to dig 3 feet into the ground, they had to find her. If this person was not found, the entire place would fall into the Bai clan's hands sooner or later. Right now, there was only one Bai Ruyu, but her strength and potential were all seen clearly. However, no matter how they searched, they still could not find any traces of Bai Ruyu. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. This was a very bad thing. Of course, the news of Bai Ruyu having a powerful expert behind her naturally spread. Many people felt very astonished, but they did not know who it was. Many people guessed that it should be a great faction that had taken a fancy to their world of bloodshed. If that was the case, then it would indeed be quite troublesome. Master, could it be that I shouldn't go out now? I feel that I've more or less comprehended it and can unleash quite a few powerful attacks. When Bai Ruyu was prepared to go out, Lin Fei stopped her. Lin Fei had been observing this world of bloodshed. The current situation in this world of bloodshed was a little tense. All the experts were searching for Bai Ruyu's traces. As long as Bai Ruyu appeared, countless experts would come over just like that. Lin Fei's intention was to let Bai Ruyu take a breather. That was for the best. Anyway, there was no hurry, not to mention that Lin Fei had a lot of time. Bai Ruyu didn't agree with it after hearing it. Master, I feel that I'm very suitable for fighting now. My combat experience will also become richer and richer. Isn't Master here? If I really encounter any danger, Master will take action and I will be uprooted. Those who commit crimes must be cleaned up. Even though most of the Bai family's experts were killed this time, and even the family lord was killed by Bai Ruyu, this was still not enough. The Bai family still existed. An entire Bai family had to pay a heavy price. This was Bai Ruyu's most important goal. Lin Fei thought about it and agreed. After all, Bai Ruyu's strength had changed a lot. He had already reached the level of a 7-star divine master, but the power that he could unleash was very strong. Ordinary 8 stars wouldn't be a match for him, and only 9 stars would be able to suppress Bai Ruyu. Once Bai Ruyu mobilized the so-called Blood Sea Palace's power, things would become even more different. The current Bai Ruyu was no different from being possessed. This was something that Lin Fei figured out later on. At that time, Bai Ruyu was indeed very different from how she was before. If she wasn't possessed, what else could she be? He didn't expect that the Divine Master Massacre's means were really impressive, to be able to grasp such means. It was just that getting started was too difficult, and not everyone could grasp it. One could only comprehend it under extreme circumstances. In addition, there must be a certain treasure guiding him from the side. Only then would he be able to grasp this means. There were so many Bai family disciples, but only a few managed to grasp the Blood Sea Palace. One could imagine how impressive this means was. Not everyone could grasp it. Then you should go out and have a good fight. I will watch you. Those people also want to see what your master is like. Otherwise, they won't be able to rest easy. Lin Fei more or less knew what Bai Ruyu was thinking. His biggest thought was to overturn the Bai family. It was that simple. Of course, it was the same for other forces. Therefore, Bai Ruyu could be said to have to deal with all the big and small forces in the world of bloodshed alone. Those top forces definitely wouldn't let Bai Ruyu continue to grow. It was inevitable that they would take action. Lin Fei also wanted to have a good fight with these 9 stars. He wanted to see how strong they were. Wow. Bai Ruyu appeared in the outside world. When she came out, she found that she was very close to the Bai family. She was even more shocked by the power of the Tenjin Temple. So many people couldn't find it. It was no wonder that so many people wanted this Tenjin Temple back then. In the end, it fell into the hands of her master. The entire city of the Bai family was basically in a state of shrinking. Their family head and the upper echelons had suffered heavy casualties. At least 2/3 of their strength had been lost. The remaining people were really jittery. No one dared to come out rashly. Boom! The blood-colored stream of light directly blasted the city, and the huge city shook in an instant. Chapter 51:20. The Bai family was indeed in a state of panic. No one expected the remnant of the past to be so powerful. Just one move and the Bai family suffered heavy losses. More than half of the upper echelons were gone, not to mention the family head. The remaining upper echelons were terrified. Until now, they hadn't found any traces of Bai Ruyu. This was what worried them the most. If it was anyone else, they wouldn't be afraid. However, it was different for Bai Ruyu. With Bai Ruyu's temper, she would definitely uproot the Bai family. If they had known that Bai Ruyu was so powerful, they wouldn't have used any underhanded methods. They would have just behaved themselves. Anyone could imagine that as long as nothing happened to Bai Ruyu, she would be a big shot in the future. She would even comprehend the Blood Sea Palace. With the Blood Sea Palace, unless the 9 stars made a move, there was no way to deal with Bai Ruyu. Not to mention the fact that Bai Ruyu had a master behind her, who knew how strong this teacher was. At the very least, he would be at the 9 stars level. As long as he was at the pinnacle of the 9 stars, it would be even more terrifying. If he was at the full circle of the 9 stars, it would be hopeless. Probably no one in the entire world of bloodshed would be able to defeat him. The loud rumbling instantly alarmed the upper echelons. One by one, they flew out. At this time, there was actually someone attacking their city. Could it be someone who wasn't afraid of death? When they came out, they were instantly dumbfounded. It looks like Bai Ruyu is here. That demoness is finally out again. Oh my God, how did she come out? We didn't receive any news at all. Send a message. Inform them to come over. If they don't, then our Bai clan will be completely finished this time. No one can stop Bai Ruyu. When these people saw Bai Ruyu, their first thought wasn't to attack, but to contact them. Only those experts would be able to capture Bai Ruyu. Otherwise, it would be impossible to rely on the few of them. After all, there were not many experts in the Bai family now. There were only 8-star experts. Did an 8-star have the guts? Those who didn't have the guts were all frightened by Bai Ruyu. How could he still have the guts to fight her? Whoosh! A blood-colored stream of light flew in. It really was Bai Ruyu. Wherever Bai Ruyu went, the upper echelons of the Bai clan fell one after another. They couldn't stop her at all. This was a great improvement in strength. Each of the blood-red lights was like a flying sword. They were extremely powerful and could absorb the blood and qi in the opponent's body. His strength had also increased significantly. You didn't expect this, did you? Back then, you betrayed the Bai clan, and now I'm here to avenge you. Don't be afraid. If you dare to do it, you dare to admit it. Another few higher-ups were killed. Our main branch has lost so many people, but you guys didn't even bat an eyelid. If the Bai family didn't exist, how could your branch exist? But you guys didn't know what's good for you and betrayed the main branch. Damn it. Bai Ruyu kept shuttling back and forth. Wherever she went, no one could stop her. One by one, corpses fell from the sky. In the blink of an eye, all of the higher-ups of the Bai family were killed, except for them. Bai Ruyu also killed all the potential members of the Bai clan. She didn't show any mercy at all. At this moment, Bai Ruyu didn't show any mercy at all. She attacked and didn't say anything. She killed everyone in the Bai clan, and Lin Fei just watched quietly. Naturally, he could feel Bai Ruyu's feelings. This was what she needed to do at this moment. It could be said that this was a mental demon of Bai Ruyu. If she didn't resolve this mental demon, she would be traumatized for the rest of her life. It was the direct descendant of the Bai clan who betrayed them. If it was something else, it wouldn't be a big deal. But it was different when the branch betrayed them. This was a real stab in the back. One stab directly destroyed the entire main branch of the Bai clan. If it wasn't for them working together, the Bai clan wouldn't have been breached so quickly. At least the casualties wouldn't be that serious. They moved quite fast. There are experts here so soon. But if they come at this time, you guys can only be unlucky. Lin Fei felt a few figures flying over. There were at least dozens of them. These were all 8- and 7-star experts. So far, none of the 9 stars had made a move. After all, these 9 stars also wanted to save face. But it shouldn't be long before they made a move. Lin Fei was even less anxious. Let these people who rushed over first suffer a little first. Who asked them to be so impatient? As the saying goes, haste makes waste. Don't they understand this principle? It could only be said that they were unlucky. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One by one, the figures quickly approached. They also quickly locked onto Bairuyu. They were all 7-star and 8-star experts. At this moment, they were especially excited. Finally, they found Bairuyu's whereabouts. The only thing that made them a little unhappy was when did Bairuyu appear here. They didn't have any news at all. Chapter 51:21. The 7-star and 8-star experts thought that they could take advantage of the situation. However, when they came over, they realized that they could not take advantage of the situation at all. This was a huge trap. Bairuyu's attack caught them off guard. All of them were in a sorry state and could not withstand it at all. The beams of sanguine light were extremely powerful and could even suppress their attacks easily. Most importantly, the sanguine light had a strong penetrative ability. It could penetrate their bodies and plunder their vital energy and blood. Their combat abilities would also become weaker and weaker. Her technique was too terrifying. Most importantly, when the huge whirlpool opened, they felt as though they had fallen into a huge net. No matter how they struggled, it was useless. One by one, the 7-star and 8-star experts were killed. The 7-star and 8-star experts who had yet to make a move in the distance broke out in a cold sweat. They stared intently at the huge, blood-colored whirlpool not far away. In the whirlpool, they could vaguely see a palace. That was the famous Blood Sea Palace. If it was any other Blood Sea Palace, they naturally would not take it seriously. However, it was different for this one. It was absolutely domineering. If anyone underestimated it or fell into it, there was basically no way to save them. Looking at the current situation, they only knew that. They had never had such a huge reaction. However, this time they met the descendant of the Massacre Divine Master as promised. She was so powerful. After comprehending the Blood Sea Palace, they immediately felt what terror was, what fear and palpitations were. None of them dared to move forward. Even if they were to move a little closer, they could feel the inexplicable lethality. This is too terrifying. How can there be such a powerful person? Killing 7-star and 8-star experts is like killing ants. That's right. Even I can feel the great danger. Fortunately, I came late. It's a pity for those people. Hee hee. Haste makes waste. These people are courting death. They could have gone anywhere else but here. Many people lamented. Even if they were given 100 guts, they would not dare to make a move. At the very least, no 7-star or 8-star would dare to go forward. The only ones who could make a move were the 9 stars. Perhaps the 9 stars could defeat Bairuyu. The rest could not. Don't tell me those who are spying on us in the dark are still not planning to make a move? If you don't make your move, I'm leaving. So. Beams of cold light came from afar. It was like a meteor shower. In an instant, it enveloped the area where Bairuyu was. Bairuyu waved her hand, and streams of light flew out of the blood-colored vortex. They collided one after another. Waves of formless energy swept out, and the void began to tremble. The people nearby immediately disappeared without a trace, and they all realized one thing. That was when the famous 9-star powerhouse started to make his move. Only they could cause such a huge commotion. Everything else could be put aside. What an arrogant child. I want to see just how much ability you have inherited from the master massacre god. An old man walked out. The scepter in his hand was extremely eye-catching. As soon as the scepter moved, it burst out with attacks. Some people recognized who this person was. The Mountain Sea Patriarch is here, a powerful late-stage 9 stars existence. If he makes a move, this Bairuyu definitely won't be able to hold on. That's basically the case. The possibility is still very high. Many people knew this Mountain Sea Patriarch. This Mountain Sea Patriarch was very powerful. His Tao of sorcery was very strong and ferocious. In particular, there were a few powerful techniques that ordinary people couldn't possibly defend against. The Mountain Sea Patriarch kept coming over, and his scepter kept moving. A huge black storm directly enveloped the outside of the blood-colored vortex. Then it kept strangling and attacking. Its power was endless. Even from afar, they could feel its power. Bairuyu also activated the blood-colored vortex and easily blocked it. No one expected that this blood-colored vortex would be so powerful that it could even withstand the attack of the Mountain Sea Patriarch. On the contrary, streams of light flew out, and each of them turned into a powerful attack. Although it was only a one-time attack, it made the Mountain Sea Patriarch realize that this guy was a little unusual. You alone aren't enough. There are still 9 stars that haven't come. It won't be that easy to take me down like this. Bairuyu sneered. What an arrogant tone. The Mountain Sea Patriarch alone is enough to make you suffer. Since you still want to take me down, I'll fulfill your wish. Another 9 stars appeared. This 9 stars was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he entered the vortex. Wherever he passed, all the surrounding attacks automatically collapsed. This time, Bairuyu has no chance at all. That goes without saying. Even the disciple of the Master Destruction is here. I heard that this is one of the top 10 disciples of the Master Destruction. He's exceptionally strong. She can be arrogant against 1 9 stars, but against 2 9 stars, she doesn't have the capital to be arrogant. Chapter 51:22. One Mountain Sea Ancestor was already very terrifying. In the end, another disciple of the God of Destruction came. One had to know that the God of Destruction was also one of the top God Masters. His strength was also exceptionally strong. Furthermore, he mainly cultivated the power of destruction. Furthermore, all of his disciples were extremely powerful. Today one came. As soon as he attacked, he was surrounded by the power of destruction. Every beam of destructive power formed a black dragon, and wherever the black dragon passed, a hole would be torn open. Charge in. Bairuyu also felt the pressure at this moment. She also mobilized the power of the Blood Sea Palace. If it was just the Mountain Sea Ancestor, it wouldn't be too much pressure, but this disciple of the God of Destruction was different. The power of destruction was permeable. Even the power of blood of Bairuyu was limited. It was hard to resist. It kept collapsing. The means that Bairuyu mastered were not as powerful as when she was at her peak. If she was really that powerful, these few God Masters would be able to easily suppress her. The two of them made Bairuyu feel the pressure. Even so, Bairuyu still persisted for a long time. Although she was injured, it also made the disciples of the Mountain Sea God and the God of Destruction feel a little helpless. Of course, it was mostly killing intent. Such a person must not be allowed to live. She had such combat strength at such a young age and could even fight a few rounds with the Blood Sea Palace. If she became stronger and stronger, they wouldn't be able to defeat her at all and might even end up in a draw. In the future, she would definitely overtake them. Such a person must not be allowed to live, so their killing intent was cold. Hua! A figure appeared behind Bairuyu without any warning. She didn't know when this guy would appear. He just appeared in an instant. Even Bairuyu didn't notice it herself. Then, the other party slapped Bairuyu's body. The jade-white blood sea palace instantly showed signs of instability. Following that, the illusory figure opened its eyes. The black figure disappeared and the attack missed. Just like that, Bairuyu was completely different from before. His injuries had also worsened. Bairuyu, I want to see how long you can last after being hit by my trick." A voice came from all directions. No one knew exactly where he was, but everyone knew that this figure was the famous Dark Shadow King. This guy was also a top-notch assassin. Not everyone could withstand his attack. This time, no one severely injured by Ryu. She was only injured. This caused everyone to experience another round of surprise. 3 9-stars had made a move. Even the Dark Shadow King had used such a technique, but they had not managed to injure by Ryu. It also made everyone realize what it meant by 7-star and 8-star were like ants. In front of Bai Ryu, it was indeed powerless. In the dark, Lin Fei observed silently. There were still quite a number of 9-stars, powerhouses, lurking in the dark. They seemed to be observing, but they were more concerned about the mysterious expert behind Bai Ryu. If not, they would have made a move long ago. Looking at the time, it's about time for me to make a move. If I don't, my disciple won't be able to hold on. Lin Fei moved his body. He knew that this was the time for him to make a move. If he didn't, these 9-stars would not be able to hold it in. Just like the Dark Shadow King. Lin Fei did not stop her. He just wanted to let Bai Ryu experience the gap between them. He was indeed very strong now. It was indeed easy to kill 7-star and 8-star. However, it was difficult to meet 9-stars. He still had a long way to go from 7-star to 8-star to 9 stars, unless he refined the Blood Sea Palace further. Otherwise, it would be difficult to improve his strength. The Dark Shadow King made a move again. This time his attack was sharper than before. There was no trace of him. It also made Bai Ryu feel a sense of danger. She could not sense his presence because his speed was too fast. In an instant he changed his position countless times. She could not grasp his real body. It was the same even if he controlled the surrounding blood sea. It was as if the other party could easily avoid it. Don't resist. You definitely won't be as lucky as the previous time. The Dark Shadow King admitted that he had underestimated Bai Ryu. Swoosh! A figure was sent flying. He landed outside with a heavy thud. A large part of the void also collapsed, causing many 7-stars and 8-stars to be secretly shocked. Of course, most of them were 9 stars in the depths of the void. All of them were instantly energized. The expert behind Bai Ryu had finally appeared. Even the Dark Shadow King did not notice him and was sent flying. This person seemed to be quite powerful. Then they saw a young figure walking out. He was dressed in a black robe. His age was really a little ridiculous. How could there be such a young guy? For a moment, they doubted their eyes. Was this the expert behind Bai Ryu? Chapter 51:23. As soon as this black-robed man came out, Mountain Sea Patriarch and the other powerhouse stopped. Their gazes fell on this black-robed young man, because they all knew that this was the person behind Bai Ryu. If it were anyone else, they wouldn't care much. However, this person's words were different. This person was filled with mystery from head to toe. In the void, figures instantly fell on this black-robed young man. This person is very strange. I don't know where he came from. I know some of the powerful powerhouses in our universe, and I also know the younger generation, but I really don't know this person. It doesn't matter if we know him or not. Anyway, since this guy has come out, we can catch him. Many people had been thinking about the person behind Bai Ryu for a long time. Unfortunately, this person had never shown up. Now that he had shown up, it was different. Some methods could also be used. So you're the person behind Bai Ryu. You really dare to show up. Mountain Sea Patriarch stared at him coldly. It's better for someone like you to report your name, lest you implicate the entire force behind you. After all, our world of bloodshed will not allow someone like you to exist. The two of them also wanted to measure how strong this black-robed young man was. My disciple said that the two of you can't do it alone. It's the same in front of me. Lin Fei waved his hand, and a powerful force directly swept over. Nothing was useful. Pure power, violent and domineering. The expressions of Mountain Sea Patriarch and the other 9 stars powerhouse changed, and a mighty force swept over. In an instant, the 2 of them were in the middle of this attack. All the defensive treasures and armors were activated in an instant. In an instant, a crashing sound could be heard. The 2 of them directly fell into the distance, hundreds of thousands of miles away. With such strength, you can't even take down my disciple. How dare you stand in front of me? I don't want to talk nonsense with you anymore. One by one, the 9 stars powerhouses in the void came out. They were shocked. This black-robed young man seemed to be much stronger than they had imagined. Little White can rest for a while. Leave the rest to me. Anyway, they have been thinking about it for a long time. It's just as they wish. Lin Fei's voice was not very loud, but these people heard it clearly. In the blink of an eye, more than 29 stars powerhouses appeared. There were quite a few lineups like that. After all, they wouldn't allow people like Bairuyu to exist. Back then, the god Lord of Massacre had once unified this world. So they all came over. If it wasn't for the fact that there were people behind Bairuyu, they would have made their move long ago. Now, they finally got their wish. You're indeed quite strong. If I'm not mistaken, you're at least a late-stage 9 stars existence, or even a peak existence. You're making a move in the world of bloodshed. Aren't you stretching your hands too far? A tall figure walked over. This figure was like the leader of the crowd, filled with an imposing aura. Bairuyu's eyes had also turned blood-red. Xianyuan Gate. God, Lord Long River. These words were uttered through gritted teeth. He stared coldly at her. His entire body was trembling quite a bit. Back then, it was this Xianyuan Gate that led everyone to attack the Bai family, causing the Bai family to be removed from this world in a short period of time. The disciples of the Bai family were either killed, injured, or captured. As for Bairuyu, she was lucky enough to escape. All the grudges, old and new, were added together. This naturally caused Bairuyu to hate them. Hating the Bai family was one thing, but this Xianyuan Gate was another. This was also the target that Bairuyu had to make a move on no matter what. So you know my name. That's perfect. Since the 2 of you have come together, come to our Xianyuan Gate as guests. Our Xianyuan Gate hasn't welcomed outsiders in a long time. God, Lord Long River laughed, but his gaze was fixed on the black-robed young man. Only the black-robed young man made him feel pressured. This was because he couldn't see through this guy. He could guarantee that this guy definitely came from another world, and this world was very likely a high-level world, or perhaps a top-tier world. Only this kind of authority could make it difficult for others to see through him. Other than your Xianyuan Gate, I wonder who else participated back then? I hope that all of you can come out obediently so that I don't have to look for you one by one. That's a waste of time. Lin Fei raised his head and swept his gaze across everyone. His gaze became provocative. This caused the 9 stars god lords to feel a little strange. This young guy's temper was quite bad. Didn't he know that he could easily offend all of them by acting like this? The Black Mist Gate has made a move. The Big Dipper Gate. One figure after another stepped out, as if they didn't think that this black-robed guy had any tricks up his sleeve. Chapter 5124. There were still many people who stood out. After all, they were all 9 stars powerhouses and represented various factions behind them. Back then, they joined forces to deal with the Bai family because the divine Lord of Massacre was not around. Since he was not around, they would definitely divide up the Bai family. Unfortunately, they did not eliminate the root of the problem. This Bairuyu was the best proof. If they had known that this Bairuyu had such talent, they would have done everything they could to kill Bairuyu. Unfortunately, they could only watch first. This black-robed young man was a little mysterious. They did not know which faction he came from. Therefore, they had to test him again. But at the very least, it was impossible for this Bairuyu to leave the bloodshed world again. They would definitely not let Bairuyu leave. If they really let Bairuyu leave, then their bloodshed world would welcome Bairuyu's revenge sooner or later. This guy controlled the Blood Sea Palace. It was obvious that he would be given time and resources. The power of controlling the Blood Sea Palace would become stronger and stronger. When the time came, the power that erupted would become stronger and stronger. This was one of the reasons why they were afraid. If they could learn some experience from this or walk this path, comprehending the Blood Sea Palace was also a way. They still valued this Bairuyu quite a bit. But now that there was this young, black-robed man, it was naturally a little different. No matter what, they had to deal with this black-robed man first. We have all stood out. I wonder how you plan to deal with us. Although you were able to severely injure the two of them just now, we're different from them. Do you want us to do it ourselves, or do you want to come with us? This is the best result. All of them burst out laughing. No one was calmer than them. No matter how powerful this young man was, could he be more powerful than them? Lin Fei raised his head and looked around. He found that almost everyone had stood up. These people were all involved in the matter back then. These people should be right? Everyone has a share. This was naturally Lin Fei asking Bairuyu. Bairuyu nodded, her eyes filled with hatred. None of these figures would be forgotten. Back then, some of them had participated. Now, their strength had reached the level of 9 stars. However, back then, they were not at this level of strength. They were only at the middle level of strength. It's them. Even if they turn into ashes, I will remember them clearly for the rest of my life. Lin Fei turned his gaze back. Then I'm very happy to say, welcome to my world. Clatter, clatter. One by one, the primordial spirits walked out. Even though there were only 10 primordial spirits, a massive array instantly enveloped the area as soon as they entered the void. Once the great array was activated, these 9 stars powerhouses instantly felt that something was wrong, because their strength was unknowingly being beaten down. His original realm of 9 stars instantly turned into the realm of 7 stars. The stronger ones were around 8 stars, and they had been beaten down by an entire realm. Everyone's face was filled with panic. What's going on? Can someone tell me what's going on here? Why did my cultivation drop by a level? Just what kind of great array is this? I've never seen my strength before, but it just knocked away a level. Even Xianyuan Gate's god, Lord Longriver, was the same. He had also lost quite a bit of his strength, barely reaching the level of peak 8 stars. This was a huge difference from before. His pupils constricted. A primordial spirit array. This is the legendary technique of the Samsara Emperor. You are a descendant of the Samsara Emperor. God, Lord Longriver, was more or less knowledgeable. At this moment, he realized the origin of this great array. If it were anything else, God, Lord Longriver, would not have been able to immediately recognize it. But now it was different. He could recognize it at a glance. This was the technique of the Samsara Emperor. It was said that when he was at his peak, not just anyone could block the Samsara array once it was activated. He would lose quite a bit of his strength. He would be like an ant that could be obliterated. These scoundrels tried to deal with you in the past, but now I've knocked away 10% of their strength. You can attack now and properly deal with them. In any case, they won't be able to put up any resistance. Lin Fei smiled at Bairuyu. God, Lord Longriver, and the other 9-star experts felt a chill envelop their bodies. A level of strength had been knocked away, and some had even lost more than a level. Their strength was not much higher than that of Bairuyu's. Most importantly, they could not erupt with the fighting power of 9-star experts. This was the most critical factor, and they had all witnessed Bairuyu's power. If they were to fight, they had no chance of winning. Thank you, Master. I will definitely kill them all. Not a single one of them will survive my hands. Bairuyu's hatred reached the heavens. With a whoosh, she charged in. There's no need for you to struggle. You simply can't get out. Once my Samsara array activates, you can properly enjoy this gift. Chapter 51:25. The 9 stars, had never imagined that this would happen. In the end, it would turn out like this. This black-robed young man had actually used a technique of the Samsara Emperor. This was the famous primordial soul array. The moment this primordial soul array was activated, it had truly stunned them. All of their strength had been suppressed. Even the strongest of the Xianyuan Gate's god, Lord Long River, felt helpless. More than that, he felt apprehension. Their strength had been suppressed. If they wanted to regain it, they had to break through the primordial soul array. That was the only way they could recover to their previous strength. Otherwise, if Bairuyu attacked, they definitely wouldn't be able to stop her. Just as these thoughts were running through their minds, someone barged in for the kill. It was Bairuyu. If it was just the black-robed young man, they might not be able to resist, but if it was Bairuyu, they might be able to turn the tables. At the same time, their faces were filled with helplessness. Everyone, let's go all out. I don't believe that this Bairuyu is that strong. Take her in our hands. Let's see what else he has to say. That's right, just like that. All of them went crazy. Now that their strength had been suppressed, their only target was Bairuyu. Just now, they had tried to attack the Samsara primordial soul, but the Samsara primordial soul was extremely terrifying. In the blink of an eye, it had disappeared into the void, no longer existing. They could clearly sense it, but they couldn't attack it. It was clear that this was a powerful spatial technique. They had heard that the Samsara Emperor was extremely strong in the past, but they didn't think much of it. Now, they had finally seen it for themselves. Once the array was activated, it would be very difficult to deal with. Unless they were extremely strong, but they were only 9 stars. 9 stars were considered strong, but their 9 stars were somewhat weak. It was truly a tragic matter. Whoosh! Streaks of blood-red light instantly shot towards them. Everyone had a share of it. Of course, the focus was on God, Lord Long River of the Xianyuan Gate. His gaze was fixed on the black-robed young man. In the blink of an eye, his gaze landed on Bairuyu. Just as everyone had said, they had to take down this Bairuyu first. Perhaps this could even make the other party hesitate in taking action. Otherwise, they would definitely suffer a great loss. Lin Fei just watched quietly. This was the first time he had used it after mastering the great circle of Samsara. It looked like it was pretty good. At the very least, he had suppressed the strength of these 9 stars powerhouses. Now it all depended on Bairuyu. Whether or not they could kill Bairuyu, they could only kill her with their own hands to vent the anger in their hearts. This was also the reason why Lin Fei used the reincarnation primordial spirit. Lin Fei had the ability to kill all these 9 stars. After all, no matter how strong they were not as strong as him. However, it was quite boring to kill them like this. It was better to let Bairuyu do it herself. In a confined space, a certain amount of strength was restricted. That was quite an interesting thing. Bairuyu, even if I become a ghost, I will not let you off. You only killed a primordial spirit of mine. My main body will definitely come to take revenge. And that black-robed young man, you won't be able to escape either. None of them could stop Bairuyu. After all, Bairuyu's strength could be said to be invincible among those of the same realm. And this was also true for those of a higher realm. The Blood Sea Palace was very powerful. Such a powerful technique was not something that just anyone could withstand. In the blink of an eye, these 9 stars powerhouses were killed one by one. All the treasures fell into Bairuyu's hands. Her mind was completely focused on God, Lord Long River. God, Lord Long River, you never thought that there would be a day when I would be able to kill you here. The others were all killed. God, Lord Long River knew that Bairuyu was very strong. If they fought to the end, the one to die would be him. What a pity for this main body. That's right, this time it was only his main body. He had never taken this Bairuyu seriously, but he had never imagined that there would be a black-robed young man behind her, and it was his master. He had used the Samsara Emperor's technique right from the get-go, instantly suppressing his main body. Now that he thought about it, he really did suffer a loss. Unlike some of the 9 stars, his primordial spirits weren't that damaged. Your Excellency is truly very strong, but you alone have offended all of us. There will be no place for you in the entire world of slaughter. God, Lord Long River, was extremely indifferent at this moment. With just a few words, the main body exploded. A torrent of energy rolled out, but as soon as it rolled out, it was compressed back by a force. It turned into a ball and landed in Lin Fei's hand. You actually decided to self-destruct, but this is only the beginning. The ball of energy in Lin Fei's hand disappeared without a trace in the blink of an eye. How is it? Happy now? Chapter 51-26. There were so many 9 stars experts, but only Ryu was there. Many forces had indeed sensed this. These forces had all sent out 9 stars experts. However, as the auras of these 9-star powerhouses disappeared one by one, these forces were instantly shocked, especially after the reincarnation formation appeared. All the forces were shocked. He immediately recognized that this was the famous reincarnation formation of the Reincarnation Emperor. In this formation, one's strength could be suppressed. It was said that when one reached the peak, one reincarnation would be able to take away all the strength of one's entire life. Although this statement was ridiculous, the Samsara Emperor's means were indeed very powerful. This time, everyone wanted to take down Ryu. However, it seemed that taking down Ryu was much more difficult than they had imagined. Most importantly, the 9 stars experts had all been killed. After the forces returned, they were instantly moved. All of a sudden, everyone's thoughts became a little different. No one knew where this young man in a black robe came from. Moreover, no one knew how strong this fellow was. For a moment, no one dared to make a move. After all, such a strong existence would definitely be troublesome. If they joined forces to make a move, once the Samsara formation was activated, they would be shaken down again. By then, it would be their primordial spirits that would die. These days, it was not easy to cultivate a primordial spirit. Moreover, some people only had one primordial spirit. If they did not have this primordial spirit, they did not dare to imagine what it would be like. Therefore, the situation became very normal. However, the bloodshed world was in a state of apprehension. These guys are not very brave. Lin Fei really hoped that all of them would make a move. Unfortunately, these guys were all afraid. After all, the 9 stars experts had been directly suppressed, and their strength had been killed by Ryu. If word of this got out, it would be very embarrassing. Their originally united formation suddenly had many cracks. Master, what should we do now? Should I fight them one by one? If that's the case, we can annihilate all of them. Ryu did vent a lot of anger in her heart. Even God, Lord Long River's main body had died here, let alone the other 9 stars. Overall, she was very satisfied with this trip. The rest was to slowly cook the frog. Get rid of them, slowly. The way Ryu looked at her master, Lin Fei, became even more worshipful. It was a kind of fanatical worship. That's up to you. Are you really going to destroy them all? Or should we take in a portion, destroy a portion, and integrate the world of slaughter? Of course, Lin Fei wouldn't get too involved in this kind of thing. If Ryu wanted to participate, she should be the one to do it. Whether they were all wiped out or not, it was Ryu's own business. For a time, Ryu was lost in thought. Indeed, he only had thoughts of revenge. But now that he heard what his master said, Ryu was more or less confused and at a loss. She didn't know what choice she should make. Master, I really don't know how to choose. I want to destroy them. But the world of slaughter was created by family's experts, and it has even been upgraded. Ryu's current state was indeed quite chaotic. She really didn't know what choice to make. Both the palm and the back of the hand were flesh, and it wasn't easy to make a move. Lin Fei said, "Since you can't figure out what you should do now, There's no harm in waiting for a few days. The situation will become clear by then. If nothing unexpected happens, there will definitely be people among them who will come to rely on you first. Rely on me? Bairuyu was stunned. But I killed some of their experts, and I even killed the primordial spirits of the 9 stars, as well as their main bodies. Lin Fei shook his head. This is a world of benefits. As long as there's benefits, they will naturally make the right choice, unless there's something wrong with their brains. In the end, Bairuyu still listened to his master's words and decided to observe the situation first. After more than 10 days, a figure really found their temporary cave abode. Lin Fei didn't conceal the temporary cave abode at all. All the 9 stars experts could find it. After all, Lin Fei had more or less left some clues and traces. It wasn't difficult to find this place, unless Lin Fei really didn't want others to find it. Then they really wouldn't be able to find it, but now it was easy. Look, someone's coming. Lin Fei wasn't surprised at all. Bairuyu's heart shook. I know him, he's from the 9 Stars sect. She recognized him at a glance. The top 5 forces in the world of slaughter. Isn't that right? As long as there are benefits, they will naturally come. In the current world of slaughter, whether they can survive or not depends on your words. Of course, it also depends on Master's attitude. Chapter 51:27. What was going on with this 9 Stars gate? It couldn't be clearer. They were here to curry favor. Of course, they were here to curry favor. However, they weren't so direct. They were here to seek forgiveness from Bairuyu. This was a very good move. Apart from this, they also returned some of the things that the Bai family had brought out to Bairuyu. The meaning behind their words was very simple. That was to rely on Bairuyu and become a part of the external forces. If it was just a 9 Stars gate, it wouldn't be much. After that, more forces appeared one after another. These forces were very simple. That was standing behind Bairuyu. They were all smart people, so they were able to see through it. Bairuyu's master was definitely a terrifying existence. She could even suppress a 9 Stars expert. If they were to fight, even a few 9 stars might not be her opponent. It was highly likely that Bairuyu's master was in existence at the peak of the 9th star realm. As for whether or not she was a 10 stars expert, that was another matter. No matter what, a full circle expert was definitely very terrifying. Even the strongest Xianyuan gate in this world might not be able to handle it. Bairuyu finally understood what her master meant by those words. There was indeed a relationship of interests in this slaughtering world. Now, the other 9 stars experts were moved. Their thinking was very simple. That was, they needed to find a new backer. In the past, they had always followed the lead of the Xianyuan school. After experiencing this commotion, he naturally had a new choice. That was to choose Bairuyu. As long as Bairuyu had such a powerful master behind her, Xianyuan Gate wouldn't be able to do anything. In the end, it was obvious who would win or lose. They could also make a choice. In the end, Bairuyu made a very rational choice. That was to listen to his master's words and incorporate all of these forces into his organization, forming a slaughter palace. As for why it was given such a name, Lin Fei himself was a little surprised. It seemed that his registered disciple, Bairuyu, was indeed quite different. She had quite a personality. From these 3 words, it could be seen that this small world had undergone a huge change. At the very least, a purge was inevitable. Lin Fei didn't say anything about it. In fact, after Bairuyu took control of these forces, the first thing she did was to clean them up. He swept through everything in his way. All the forces, big and small, prostrated themselves. He chose to submit to them. The number of 9 stars and 8 stars experts behind him had also started to increase. They were all convinced. After all, Bairuyu's methods were quite fierce. Not to mention Lin Fei behind him. Although they hadn't seen Lin Fei make a move, as long as they weren't stupid, they knew what was going on. In less than half a month, the entire slaughter world was in a mess. How could those top forces withstand his attacks? During this period, Lin Fei made a total of 3 moves. Each time he made a move, he suppressed the 9 stars experts. It was the same even if there were 3 to 5 9 stars experts. It was the same even if it was a sex array. None of them could withstand the power of Lin Fei's hands. This also made everyone more certain that the ability of this young man in a black robe had definitely reached the level of 9 stars great perfection. He pushed all the way from the south, all the way to the left. Wherever they went, there was almost no one who could stop the attacks of the Massacre Palace. And Bai Ruyu's aura was getting stronger and stronger. Lin Fei saw everything. He also knew that Bai Ruyu seemed to have changed a lot. He felt that Bai Ruyu's path was actually quite right. Under such circumstances, Bai Ruyu's ability actually had a breakthrough and directly reached the level of 8 stars. Even Lin Fei was surprised. It seemed that this Bai Ruyu could only grow in these slaughters. Every time he attacked, he would take the lead, and his ability was also the most ferocious. This kind of progress really shocked the others. Lin Fei estimated that after he left, Bai Ruyu would be able to reach the level of 9 stars. After reaching the level of 9 stars, the power of the Blood Sea Palace would be stronger and stronger. At that time, the explosive power would be enough to reach the level of 9 stars great perfection. Lin Fei still had this little bit of judgment. He heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. At least after he left, he could rest assured. With the ability of 9 stars great perfection, he could basically rest easy. As long as he fought steadily, basically no one would be able to take down Bai Ruyu. Not to mention that he was still standing behind her. Master, you will reach the territory of Xianyuan Gate tomorrow. I don't think the Xianyuan Gate would be so willing to admit defeat. I'm afraid they have invited some experts. I'll have to trouble Master to make another move. Bai Ruyu had indeed changed a lot. However, standing in front of Lin Fei, she returned to her previous appearance. She was no longer cold in front of outsiders. She looked like a female palace master. It was more appropriate to call her a female devil. This is a small matter. After settling things here, is Master going to leave? Chapter 51:28. Did Bai Ruyu really have such a feeling? How did you know that I'm leaving? You're pretty smart to have guessed it so quickly. To be honest, Lin Fei was preparing to leave, but he wasn't ready to tell Bai Ruyu yet. As long as Bai Ruyu integrated this world, Lin Fei would naturally prepare to leave. With Bai Ruyu's current strength, it shouldn't be too much trouble to improve, not to mention the strength of a 9 stars full circle. Together with the Blood Sea Palace, her combat power would be very strong. Anyone who wanted to make a move would have to think about it first. Would it be worth it to make a move? Doesn't Master know about a girl's 6th sense? It's very accurate. I just feel that Master is going to leave. Bai Ruyu's feelings were very complicated. If it wasn't for Master, she wouldn't have improved her strength so quickly and even comprehended the Blood Sea Palace. She would have improved her strength as well. Now, most of the Slaughterside's world was in her hands, and she even established the Slaughter Palace. Everything was all thanks to his master. Without Master, she was nothing. Therefore, from the bottom of her heart, she naturally didn't want Master to leave so soon. She hoped that she could stay here, at least for a few more days. I almost forgot. Your 6th sense is indeed very strong. But don't worry. I'll only leave after you integrate this world. When Master has a place to stay, I'll definitely tell you. Lin Fei's words were true. Until now, he hadn't found a place to stay. After all, he wasn't sure where he wanted to go. Even if he brought Bai Ruyu along, it might not be a good thing. It was better to let Bai Ruyu stay here. What you need to do is to continuously improve your strength. After all, your cultivation method is different from others. The stronger you cultivate, the further you can go. Do you understand? Bai Ruyu listened to these words seriously. She knew that Master was saying it for her own good. In another place, it was the Xianyuan Gate. The Xianyuan Gate was in a state of panic. The number of people inside had also increased. These were the experts of some sections. They were either 8 stars or 9 stars. They were all gathered at the Xianyuan Gate. No one knew better than them that this battle was inevitable. The most important thing now was how to stop Bai Ruyu. Now, Bai Ruyu had already taken control of the south. It was only a day away from the Xianyuan Gate, and they had already received the news. So, whether they could hold on or not depended on the Xianyuan Gate. The head of the Xianyuan Gate was also very helpless. Back then, he had only done a small thing. He didn't expect that after so many years, Bai Ruyu would finally come back. If it was just Bai Ruyu, it wouldn't matter. However, her master was too powerful. The first move was the Reincarnation Emperor's technique, which could suppress a person's strength. It was also the technique that allowed Bai Ruyu to kill so many 9 stars, not to mention Divine Lord Long River. The news brought back by Divine Lord Long River, coupled with Bai Ruyu's subsequent actions, made them realize that this battle was indeed inevitable. The most important thing was how to win this battle. Naturally, Bai Ruyu wasn't a threat at all. Only the black-robed young man was the most terrifying. Those of the older generation had more or less heard of the Reincarnation Emperor's methods. Only the younger generation hadn't heard of it. The Reincarnation Emperor's greatest strength was his ability to suppress a person. At his peak, the moment the reincarnation array appeared, everyone's strength would be reduced to the same level. It would directly attack. Even the primordial spirit couldn't avoid it. It would directly attack the primordial spirit through the trace of connection with the original body. Back then, the Reincarnation Emperor was extremely powerful. It could be said that he was one of the top. Although he wasn't the strongest among the top, he was still in existence that others couldn't do anything about. Sect Master, that Bai Ruyu is only a day away from us. They will definitely arrive tomorrow. What should we do? Do we really have to fight? If we really fight, we don't know how we're going to get past that black-robed young man. Are we going to invite the old ancestor? Or should we invite the forces from other worlds to help us mediate? That guy is most likely a 9 stars perfected. He didn't do much from the start, but his strength is like a mountain. All of them looked at the sect master, not far away. At this moment, only the sect master could make the best choice. Their Xianyuan school was indeed very strong, but this time they had encountered an even stronger existence like Bai Ruyu, which naturally made them feel incomparable pressure. Back then, they had plundered a large number of resources and techniques from the Bai family. Now Bai Ruyu was here. It was as if the Xianyuan Gate's doomsday was coming. They didn't have a shred of confidence because they had all seen the black-robed young man's techniques with treasures. Don't worry, I've already invited someone else to hold the fort. We won't let that Bai Ruyu succeed. The error-free chapter of Invincible King of Upgrade will continue to be updated on the mobile game bar. There will be no advertisements on the website. Please collect and recommend the mobile game bar. If you like the Invincible King of Upgrade, please collect. The Invincible King of Upgrade mobile game bar updates the fastest. Chapter 5129. A new ray of sunlight shone over. It was not a good day. In fact, it was not a very good day, because Bai Ruyu finally brought her men to a place not far from Xianyuan Gate. The entire mountain gate was presented in front of Bai Ruyu's eyes. Bai Ruyu looked at the huge palace and the densely packed figures. She was quite excited. He had finally brought his men back to kill his way back. Back then, it was Xianyuan Gate who led the charge. If it wasn't for Xianyuan Gate, there wouldn't be so many things happening. At that time, although Bai family didn't have old ancestor Bai, the so-called massacre god, the overall strength of Bai family was still very strong. It was because Xianyuan Gate found the collateral relatives of Bai family and used all sorts of methods to break through the Bai family. The Bai family was caught unprepared. Bai Ruyu lost her parents and everything else in that incident. If she hadn't met her master, she didn't dare to imagine what would have happened to her. Perhaps she would have died a long time ago. Now, she could finally bring her men back for revenge. "Scum of Xianyuan Gate, come out and die. If you come out now, I can spare your life. If I step into Xianyuan Gate, all of you will die. No one can save you." At this moment, Bairuyu's voice also became incomparably loud. Just like that, it filled the sky above Xianyuan Gate. No matter who heard this voice, they would be able to feel the strong chill in it. Even the disciples of the Xianyuan sect were all cowering in fear at this moment. They didn't dare to say anything. Even the elders were the same. At this moment, they really didn't dare to make any movements. They knew that Bairuyu wasn't very strong, but she was known to be invincible in the same realm. She could even fight across realms. This wasn't a joke. Moreover, Bairuyu's strength had risen to 8-star. This way, her strength would be even stronger. It also made them realize how terrifying the Bai family's bloodline was, especially after they comprehended the Blood Sea Palace. Bairuyu's strength climbed layer by layer. She had really undergone a great transformation. There really was no harm if there was no comparison. After Bairuyu's voice spread, several figures flew out. After reaching a certain distance, he stopped. Among them was God, Lord Long River, whom Bairuyu was most familiar with. Other than that, there was another person with the strongest aura. Bairuyu's pupils contracted slightly, and she knew who this person was. That was the owner of the Xianyuan Gate, Lord Tranyuan. Lord Tranyuan was different. He was a 9 stars perfected being and was considered very strong. If it weren't for his strength, he wouldn't have been able to suppress the others. However, this time he had encountered a powerful character. Lord Tranyuan's gaze instantly fell on a figure. This figure was none other than Lin Fei. He could indeed sense that the other party's aura was very dangerous. However, he couldn't tell what the other party's realm was. This made him understand the severity of the situation. Bairuyu, you're quite bold. Do you really think that you can go against my Xianyuan Gate just because you've taken in so many people and forces? Lord Tranyuan's gaze then fell on Bairuyu. Although Bairuyu was young, Lord Tranyuan could tell that Bairuyu's physique was very strong, especially after gaining control of the Blood Sea Palace. Her strength continued to climb. Perhaps in less than a decade or two, she would truly become a perfected 9 stars perfected being. At that time, she would be invincible among those in the same realm. Perhaps only 10 stars would be able to suppress her. The number of such experts in the entire universe could be counted on one's fingers. Every one of them was cultivating in seclusion. Therefore, a perfected 9 stars perfected being was already very powerful. Even if I have to risk my life, I'll make you pay with your blood today, especially you, old thing. Bairuyu activated the Blood Sea Palace behind her and slashed with her blood saber. As the blood saber swept across, the entire void instantly split open. However, just as it was about to reach the Xianyuan Gate, a huge formation appeared. A huge array formation appeared, with many towering pillars supporting the heavens and the earth. There were actually 81 of these pillars that could support the heavens and the earth, reaching straight into the clouds. It withstood Bairuyu's saber. If our Xianyuan Gate was so easy to deal with, then it wouldn't be the Xianyuan Gate. Even though it was a simple saber, Lord Tranyuan could tell that it was very powerful. It could even absorb a certain amount of vitality. It was a very strange saber technique. This was the massacre saber technique of the Lord God of Massacre. It was said that each saber could absorb vitality. Once blood was drawn, the injuries would worsen, not to mention the Blood Sea Palace behind her. Sir, you brought Bairuyu to attack our Xianyuan Gate. Have you forgotten the background behind our Xianyuan Gate? Chapter 5130. The formation of the Xianyuan Gate was very powerful. At least after Bairuyu's attack, it was completely broken up. The head of the Xianyuan Gate also looked over. The important target was the young man in the black robe. It was said that the young man in the black robe was called Lin Fei. He was the number 1 enemy. Bairuyu could only stand aside for now. You should have heard my disciples' words. Disband the Xianyuan Gate. If you all come out obediently, I might spare your lives. Otherwise, there is no need for the Xianyuan Gate to exist. On the other side, everyone in the Xianyuan Gate, including the senior elders, was furious. The Xianyuan Gate had dominated this world for a long time. No one had ever dared to talk to them like that. Even though Bairu made such a big noise, they only felt that Bairu was not as big of a threat as they imagined. On the contrary, the young man was the biggest threat. Now, when they heard those words, they only felt that the young man was arrogant and overbearing. They felt quite uncomfortable in their hearts. In that case, you must be the enemy of the Xianyuan Gate. You should know that there are many people behind the Xianyuan Gate. If they start a fight, I'm afraid that you will not be able to bear it. The same goes for the forces behind you. The people on Bairu's side naturally hoped to have a big fight. They had gained a lot of things along the way. Now, they could finally face the Xianyuan Gate. The attitude of the Xianyuan Gate also shocked them. It seemed that the Xianyuan Gate was also very afraid. Afraid of who? Of course, they were afraid of Bairu's master, who was the young man in the black robe. Many of them had never seen such an attitude in their lives. Today they all saw it. The leader of the Xianyuan Gate also became very polite. If it was in the past, he would have already rushed out to attack. Nobody could withstand his attack. I know that Xianyuan Gate is very powerful, and you have a backer and many friends. But since I'm here, I'll definitely make Xianyuan Gate regret what you've done in the past. Lin Fei faintly smiled. If you've decided to resist to the end, then I'm going to make my move. It's a good time to see how powerful Xianyuan Gate is. Bullying my disciple is the same as bullying me. If I lose face, then don't think about having a good life. Lin Fei laughed and stretched out his hand. The hand grew bigger and bigger until it reached the sky above the entire Xianyuan Gate. The entire Xianyuan Gate suddenly felt like it was covered by dark clouds. Everyone felt a sense of danger. With a whoosh, the hand directly fell. The formation of the Xianyuan Gate was activated to its limit in an instant. Layer after layer of brilliant light was released. In this short period of time, there were more than 100 layers of defense. This was the strongest defense of the Xianyuan Gate. Even if a 9-star expert attacked, they wouldn't be able to break through these 100 layers of defense. The degree of defense was different. The deeper they went, the bigger and stronger the defense became. Lord Tranyuan wanted to see how powerful Lin Fei was. Could he break through the formation of the Xianyuan Gate with just this method? He was thinking too much. Whoosh! Whoosh! Layer after layer of the array formations were continuously broken. The hearts of every shattered layer were startled. The collapse of each layer made the people of the Xianyuan school suck in a cold breath. His complexion became uglier and uglier, especially divine Lord Tranyuan's complexion. The entire formation of the Xianyuan Gate was broken, and the hand came down. Lord Tranyuan met it with his palm. This palm contained a powerful sword gleam. Each of the sword lights gathered together and transformed into 3 powerful sword lights that instantly landed on Lin Fei's palm. The power that was released at this moment was the power of a 9-star perfection expert. This place can't be opened. You'd better come out and have a good fight. Lin Fei smiled and walked out. Lord Tranyuan naturally knew that the battle between the two of them would definitely be affected. Therefore, he walked into the void as well. As soon as he entered the void, several figures walked out from the other side of the void. It was Lin Fei's reincarnation formation. The reincarnation formation instantly enveloped the entire Xianyuan Gate. Everyone's strength was instantly reduced. By the time Lord Tranyuan reacted, it was already too late. Lin Fei was already standing in front of him. Leave the rest to the people below. We still have things to settle. Don't be anxious. You're too much. Chapter 50-131. Lin Fei's Samsara battle was unbelievably powerful. It enveloped the entire Xianyuan Gate. The experts of Xianyuan Gate felt their bodies tremble and their strength weakened. This feeling was very obvious. One by one, their faces turned pale. On the other side, Bairuyu made her move without saying a word. A huge palace appeared behind her. The figure of the palace was also strengthened. In Bairuyu's hands, streaks of blood-colored light flew over. One by one, the figures fell to the ground. With their strength suppressed, they could not be compared to before. With Bairuyu's attack, they recovered from their panic. Many of the experts around him were killed in an instant. Bairuyu came to the front. There was no need to mention the 9-star powerhouses at the back. The 9 stars experts were all convinced. Of course, most of them knew that as long as Bairuyu's master was behind her, Xianyuan Gate would not be able to escape even if it had wings. Kill them all. As long as the people of Xianyuan Gate don't surrender, kill them all. If they don't listen to the palace master, kill them all. They were working very hard at this moment. If they did not work hard now, when would they work hard? Moreover, the experts of Xianyuan Gate had many treasures. They could more or less get some benefits. Most importantly, they were proud to be able to kill a 9 stars expert. What's more, their strength was being suppressed at this time. The experts of Xianyuan Gate were forced to retreat. They could not resist at all. Although there were more experts of Xianyuan Gate than on Bairuyu's side, it was obvious that they were at a disadvantage when they fought. The Samsara formation was not activated for nothing. Once it was activated, their strength was suppressed. The lower their strength, the greater the suppression. Although the stronger ones were suppressed, they were unable to display their combat strength for a while. It was obvious that it was strenuous. In the void, Lord Tranyuan grew even more anxious. He couldn't break through Lin Fei's blockade at all, let alone help. The Samsara formation was like a knife that instantly tore open all the power and bottom line of the Xianyuan Gate. This is a matter between Bairuyu and your Xianyuan Gate. I think you'd better not go there so soon. We can fight while watching, don't you think so? Lin Fei did not make any moves from the beginning to the end. Instead, a black hole appeared behind him. Basically, all of Lord Tranyuan's attacks were absorbed by the black hole. It also made him understand one thing more clearly. It was impossible for him to suppress Lin Fei. How could there be such a terrifying fellow? Even after using several of the treasures in his possession, he was still unable to do anything to the other party. His opponent's black hole was like a peerless expert. You're going too far. Lord Tranyuan was even more furious. Seeing the experts of the Xianyuan Gate being killed one by one, some of them quickly surrendered. The entire Xianyuan Gate seemed to have collapsed at this moment. All of this was caused by this person. A golden talisman appeared in his hand. As soon as the golden talisman appeared, it unfolded and a shadow walked out. The shadow was filled with a vast and boundless aura as soon as it walked out. You've forced me to use this treasure. Let's see how you're going to struggle now. At this moment, Lord Tranyuan's eyes were filled with extreme resentment. He wanted to kill the black-robed young man in front of him more than 100 times in an instant. He knew that he couldn't do it, so he gritted his teeth and used his strongest treasure to summon a shadow. As soon as the shadow appeared, Lin Fei knew how strong it was. This is the last time. It wasn't a very loud voice, but it was filled with boundless power. Then it slapped out with its palm. As soon as the palm was slapped out, the area where Lin Fei was instantly turned into nothingness. All that was left was a huge black hole. Everyone looked over to this side because this phantom's attack was really domineering. It pierced through the void completely and went all the way to the other side. It went all the way to the other side. It was terrifying. Most importantly, it was extremely direct. This is the consequence of going against the Xianyuan Gate. Have you people thought it through? Lord Tranyuan's voice reverberated and fell on all the attackers. Everyone looked at the unfathomable black hole and had goosebumps all over their bodies. Bairuyu saw it too. She could clearly feel that the aura of the people around her had changed. especially those on the side of the Xianyuan gate. Ha ha ha! Bairuyu, how are you going to fight us without your master? Bairuyu pierced through the person in an instant. Her gaze was exceptionally cold. Don't you feel that your strength is still being suppressed? Master's reincarnation primordial spirit is still there. You have no room to struggle. Chapter 5132. Bairuyu's words immediately moved everyone. They could indeed feel the suppression on their bodies. In other words, the reincarnated primordial spirit was still there. As long as the reincarnated primordial spirit was still there, it meant that the attack just now did not completely kill the black-robed young man. If the black-robed young man was killed, the primordial spirit would no longer exist. They even thought of a terrifying idea. It was highly possible that the attack just now did not kill the black-robed young man. Lord Tranyuan naturally heard the sound, and his expression changed slightly. He could indeed feel a layer of power shrouding the sky above the Xianyuan gate, suppressing their strength. Not dead. A figure walked out of the void. Is this the strongest move of the Xianyuan gate? It's really interesting. Lin Fei walked out. There were no injuries on his body. Instead, his black hole contained an extremely terrifying and dangerous aura. As the saying goes, courtesy demands reciprocity. Since you gave me such a gift, I should give you one too. A saber radiance instantly appeared from the black hole. The saber radiance was getting bigger and bigger. Lord Tranyuan was prepared. No matter what, this guy would only be seriously injured. It should be easy for him to deal with him after he was seriously injured. However, the saber radiance was getting bigger and bigger. He had completely underestimated his imagination. This guy was more difficult to deal with than he had imagined. Could it be that he was not a full circle of 9 stars, but an even stronger one? That was impossible. A huge shield appeared in front of him. As soon as the shield blocked the attack, all the power was dispersed to both sides. However, cracks appeared on the shield. The cracks grew, and the shield shattered with a loud crash. Then, the saber radiance slashed at Lord Tranyuan's body. Wah! God, Lord Chinyuan was heavily injured, and he was forced to retreat. Another figure walked out and blocked Lord Tranyuan. Those cold eyes also looked over. Friend, I think this matter is settled. Give my dragon tribe some face. I am Dragon Shursan of the Black Dragon tribe. This figure exuded a tyrannical aura as he walked out. He was extremely strong. Lord Tranyuan was also very powerful, but in front of this middle-aged man, he was completely different. Many people at the Xianyuan gate also heard the voice. Instantly he was delighted. So it was an expert from the Black Dragon race. They finally heaved a long sigh of relief. It should be known that the most powerful ones were from a few powerful races, and one of them was the so-called Dragon race. Within the Dragon clan, the Black Dragon clan was one of the more warlike ones. The strength of the Black Dragon race was obtained through fighting. Therefore, no one dared to offend the members of the Dragon clan. This was because the Dragon clan's talent was too strong. In this universe, the Dragon clan was an eternal existence. That's right. The Dragon race was a powerful eternal existence. Because of this, the Dragon race could practically do whatever they wanted in this universe. Fortunately, their favorite thing to do was to conquer other worlds, and they really did not have much interest in their own universe. Many of them considered it an honor to make friends with the Dragon race. Lin Fei wasn't a newbie. When he saw this figure walk out, he knew that this fellow wasn't an ordinary person. He didn't expect this fellow to be from the Black Dragon race. This Xianyuan gate was indeed capable. It should be said that Lord Tranyuan was more capable. He could even summon someone from the Dragon race. Most importantly, he actually summoned someone from the Black Dragon race. Naturally, Lin Fei knew about the strength of some special races. Among them, there were the Dragon race and the Phoenix race. These were extremely powerful, and there were even vermilion birds. They all had older generations. For example, the dragon race was the same. They had eternal existences. With eternal existences, no one would dare to offend them. Previously, Lin Fei was wondering why Lord Tranyuan didn't invite help. It turned out that he had invited an expert from the Black Dragon race. This Black Dragon race expert hadn't appeared yet because it wasn't a critical moment yet. Once it was a critical moment, an expert from the Black Dragon race would naturally appear. This expert from the Black Dragon race had indeed arrived early and was standing in the void. This was because the Black Dragon race's strongest technique was the spatial hand. Once the spatial hand was activated, one wouldn't be able to detect it even if one was standing there. He thought that this person wasn't very powerful. However, when they fought, he realized that this person was truly powerful. The reincarnation array had caused the Shenyuan Gate's experts to suffer heavy losses. Even Lord Tranyuan couldn't suppress the other party. It was the same even if he used his strongest technique. This person was truly ferocious. Therefore, he had no choice but to come out. I know that the dragon race is very powerful, especially the Black Dragon race. Lin Fei couldn't help but laugh. It's easy to get me to give up on dealing with Shenyuan Gate. Let's fight first. If you win, I'll naturally listen to you. Chapter 5133. This expert from the Black Dragon race, Draconic Shursan, was indeed powerful. Based on Lin Fei's perception, this guy should be a 9 stars pinnacle. He wasn't a 9 stars perfected. Of course, even if he was a 9 stars pinnacle, Lin Fei believed that he should be able to unleash the combat power of a perfected. This body was very strong. Of course, compared to Lin Fei, it should be a little weaker. Because of this, Lin Fei said such a thing. He also wanted to see for himself just how strong the legendary powerful race was. He was very strong now. If he could fight with Draconic Shursan, he might discover something unexpected. Of course, everyone was shocked by Lin Fei's words. That was an expert from the dragon race. Moreover, he was from the Black Dragon race. If it was any other race, it would be easy. However, it was different for the Black Dragon race. Their combat power was exceptionally strong. Although their realm wasn't high, they were known to be invincible in the same realm. It was no different from having a meal to challenge someone of a higher realm. To be able to challenge someone 1 or 2 levels higher than them. This wasn't considered a secret in the entire universe. Draconic Shursan looked over. You're quite an interesting person. No one has ever said that they want to fight with our Black Dragon tribe. Since you've said that, I'll fight with you. I'll let you know that our dragon tribe isn't a place that anyone can fight. Draconic Shursan dashed into the depths of the void. Lin Fei followed him into the depths of the void. As for the others, they lost sight of the two instantly. Only some late-stage 9-star martial artists could barely see through the void and see what was going on inside. Lord Tranyuan was injured, but he gritted his teeth and followed in. He wanted to know the outcome of the battle. However, as soon as he entered, a stream of light flew over and forced him out. Then, Draconic Shursan's cold voice was heard. You can just wait outside. Since Draconic Shursan had said so, Lord Tranyuan didn't dare to say anything else. He could only stand there obediently. Bai Ryu also stopped. This made the people of Shenyuan Gate heave a long sigh of relief. Bai Ryu was simply too powerful, not to mention this reincarnated primordial spirit. The reincarnation primordial spirit instantly suppressed their strength. There really was no harm if there was no comparison. He could barely catch his breath now. They hoped that Shursan could defeat Lin Fei so that they could rest assured. At that time, they would be able to turn the situation around. That was what everyone at the Shenyuan Gate was thinking. As for the people behind Bai Ryu, their thinking was also very simple. Naturally, he hoped that Bai Ryu's master could win. Even if he couldn't win, it would be good if they could tie. That was something to be proud of. At the very least, Shursan wouldn't have any other ideas. After all, Shursan was a powerhouse of the Dragon Clan. He could kill them in an instant. This was publicly acknowledged. In the void, Sher-san instantly attacked. However, the method he used was also quite simple, and that was the close combat method. Every punch caused the void to tremble. Lin Fei laughed out loud. You came at the right time. I also want to compete with you. Let's see whose body is stronger. Is your dragon clan stronger, or my body stronger? The two men's fists collided heavily. This collision caused Sher-san and Lin Fei to have a slight change in expression, following which his strength exploded. A loud, rumbling sound could be heard, and the entire void collapsed. One must know that this was the depths of the void. It wasn't just any ordinary, sturdy place. However, even in such a situation, the void here was still shattered. One could imagine how strong it was. Sher-san retreated. Lin Fei retreated as well. Sher-san laughed out loud. I didn't expect your body to be so strong. It seems like I found the right opponent this time. Lin Fei laughed. You're also the strongest physique I've ever seen. Your dragon clan is indeed a strong race. However, this is just the beginning. Let's continue. Lin Fei and Sher-san clashed intensely once again. It could be said that both of them were purely relying on their physical strength. You punch me, and I punch you. His combat strength was exceptionally strong. Even Sher-san realized that this fella was too strong after fighting for so long. He heard that this fella had even cultivated the reincarnation primordial spirit. He actually cultivated his primordial spirit and close combat physique. This kind of situation was really rare. Even the Dragon Clan only cultivated the Tao of physique. It was really difficult to fight against such a person. If he used the reincarnation primordial spirit, he wouldn't be an ordinary opponent. Finally, he knew why Bairuyu would bring people to fight against Xianyuan Gate. This time, Xianyuan Gate had really met with a formidable enemy. Even if Sher-san went all out, he wouldn't be able to gain the upper hand against such a person. This fella would definitely have the combat strength of a full circle 9 stars. Chapter 5134. I'm done. Sher-san didn't have any advantage throughout the fight. Instead, he suffered a little. The young man on the other side was the same. He suffered more or less. This was a close combat technique. Every punch landed on the opponent's body, and the power seeped in. Unless the opponent's body was extremely strong, he wouldn't be able to withstand it at all. It was just a simple matter. The combat power of the Dragon Clan is indeed ferocious. I've experienced it myself. Lin Fei laughed. This time he had a great time. After all, it was rare to have such a powerful sandbag. In Lin Fei's opinion, Sher-san was a powerful sandbag. It wasn't easy to find such a sandbag. Of course. Lin Fei also knew that Sher-san still had powerful skills that he hadn't used yet. Even Lin Fei was the same. After all, they were just exchanging pointers. There was no need for them to fight. Lin Fei knew that Sher-san was the same when they started fighting. It was the same for Sher-san. You're quite powerful too. I know a little about the people with strong bodies in the universe, but you're the one I'm unfamiliar with. Sher-san acknowledged the strength of the black-robed young man. He was really quite strong, and he walked 2 different paths. Once he took a step forward in these 2 paths, he would become incomparably powerful, and no one would be able to stop him. Now that we're done fighting, what do you think about the Xianyuan Gate? After all, the Xianyuan Gate joined forces with other forces to attack the Bai family and exterminate the Bai family. As his master, I have to avenge my disciple. Don't you think so? Lin Fei looked over with a smile. If it was something else, it would be easy for Sher-san to make a decision. However, this matter was really difficult. He knew his limits quickly. After all, his relationship with the sect master of the Xianyuan Gate was just so. This time he just came to help. He didn't expect to meet such a powerful guy like Lin Fei. Moreover, they walked 2 different paths. Such a person had unlimited potential in the future. Sher-san wasn't a fool. He knew what to do. The balance gradually tilted to the other side. It's Xianyuan Gate's fault indeed. They were unlucky enough to meet you. You can deal with them however you want. I won't interfere in this matter anymore." San laughed out loud. It was simple and straightforward. Should. Lin Fei was not surprised at all. After all, Draconic San was quite strong, and he was willing to give him face. Of course, it was because he was strong. Not only was he strong in close combat, but his primordial spirit was also strong. If he used his primordial spirit to suppress San's strength, his strength would drop by at least 20% or even 20% to 30%. In this way, San was in a disadvantageous position, and his opponent naturally saw through it. "Thank you, fellow cultivator Long." Since the other party was so tactful, Lin Fei naturally knew what to do. San burst into laughter again. He casually tossed a token over to Zhangxian. "When are you free? Come to our Black Dragon Palace. I have something to discuss with you. It's definitely a good thing for you." Lin Fei reached out and grabbed the token. This token was actually in the shape of a dragon. There were 2 words on it, Black Dragon. It was extraordinary. Lin Fei put it away. "After I settle this matter, I'm going to travel around the universe. Naturally, I have to visit your Black Dragon Palace." San left in a flash. This guy left quite quickly and directly. Lin Fei also walked out with a smile. Outside, Lord Tranyuan and the entire Xianyuan Gate were waiting. In the beginning, they could still see a little movement through the void. However, as the 2 of them kept fighting, the surrounding void instantly turned into a dangerous area. Their ability was directly broken. They couldn't see what was going on inside at all. They could barely hear what was going on inside, and it seemed like it had not stopped at all. This made them secretly take a deep breath. How could this black-robed young man be so strong? That was San of the Black Dragon race, a peak 9 stars existence. He could unleash the combat power of a great perfection expert. Who asked the Black Dragon race to be so strong? Fortunately, they felt that the final winner should be Lord San. As for the black-robed young man, there was no way he could win. A figure walked out of the void. As soon as this figure appeared, Bairuyu's side instantly cheered. That was because all of them understood what was going on. That means that the so-called Dragon Clan expert should have been defeated or tied. "Why are you the one who came out? Where's Lord Long?" Lord Tranyuan almost blacked out. It's over. Chapter 5135. From the moment the black-robed young man walked out, everyone knew the final result of the battle. The Dragon San of the Black Dragon Clan had left. In other words, the Xianyuan Gate was completely out of the question. Lord Chun Yuan's expression darkened on the spot. He almost couldn't stand still. As for the other experts of the Xianyuan Gate, it was the same. The voice of the black-robed young man spread out. "I'm sorry to tell you one thing. After the battle between me and the Black Dragon Clan, he has decided not to participate in this matter. I think you should know the result by now, right?" This was a result that no one had expected. Of course, it was also within the expectations of many people. Those people behind Bairuyu were very excited. They finally knew that they had made the right bet this time. The Xianyuan sect, the strongest sect in the world, was about to be completely annihilated and disintegrated. Lord Tranyuan knew that the Xianyuan Gate was going to be destroyed. He didn't expect that he would find an expert of the Black Dragon Clan to negotiate with him. Lord Tranyuan didn't know what happened during this time, but he knew that the Xianyuan Gate was completely gone. "Senior, what do you want to let go of our Xianyuan Gate? I'm willing to hand over all the treasures of the Xianyuan Gate and spare the life of our Xianyuan Gate." At this moment, Lord Tranyuan didn't care so much. He knew that even the powerful Dragon San didn't want to easily offend this guy, so this guy must have a powerful background. The only thing he could do was to beg for mercy. "I'm sorry, but you people of the Xianyuan Gate are not qualified to negotiate with me. If you had obediently allowed yourself to be captured at the beginning, maybe you could still live." But now, you don't have the qualifications to live at all. Lin Fei coldly snorted. Then he directly used his hand to block the incoming attack. This was a top-notch attack. The experts of the Xianyuan sect were severely injured in an instant. Lin Fei's attack was very powerful. Even the Lord Tranyuan was the same. Previously, when he fought with Lin Fei, he thought that Lin Fei's strength shouldn't be much stronger than him. But now he knew that this young, black-robed man's strength was definitely more terrifying than he imagined. The moment he attacked, he was severely injured. Bairuyu was not idle at all. Everyone attack! Destroy Xianyuan Gate. Today, Xianyuan Gate will be completely wiped out. What happened next was not something that Lin Fei needed to pay attention to. What he had to do was to slowly observe the situation. This time, Bairuyu really went all out. Her first target was Lord Tranyuan. Now that Lord Tranyuan was injured, he was suppressing his strength more and more. He was no match for Bairuyu. After 20 to 30 moves, Bairuyu killed him. As for the remaining experts, they were even less of a match for Bairuyu. Her strength actually broke through again, directly reaching the level of 9 stars. It turned out that the stronger the Divine Master, the more one could plunder their essence. After killing many 9 stars, Bairuyu's strength completely reached the level of 9 stars. This time, her strength erupted. Coupled with the Blood Sea Palace, she directly reached the level of peak 9 stars, although she had not reached the level of great perfection. But even with the strength of great perfection, she could not do anything to Bairuyu for a while. Even the phantom of the Blood Sea Palace began to erupt with more strength. At this moment, Bairuyu was truly in control of the Blood Sea Palace. In less than 2 hours, the entire Xianyuan Gate was completely turned into ruins. Everything was put away. As for the experts of Xianyuan Gate, not a single one was left. Bairuyu really hated Xianyuan Gate more than Lin Fei imagined. Those experts who followed all the way here secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they had made the right choice. If they had not made the right choice, they did not know if they would have been able to survive today. The dignified Xianyuan Gate was gone just like that. Then, the news quickly spread throughout the entire bloodshed world. Those forces who originally wanted Xianyuan Gate to be the vanguard were all dumbfounded. The top existence could not block it and was directly gone. Everyone panicked. The entire bloodshed world completely turned into a wail. The world had completely changed. In the next few days, many people came to visit Bairuyu. It could be said that they brought a lot of treasures. No one came empty-handed. They did not make the right choice before. They thought that Xianyuan Gate could hold on. In the end, Xianyuan Gate was turned into ashes. This made their scalps numb. They brought treasures to ask for forgiveness at the first moment. If he still didn't forgive them at this time, then they would have no chance at all. They would be completely finished. As long as they asked for forgiveness, their sect could still exist. Although this world had finally fallen into the hands of the Bai family again, at the very least, they would not be completely turned into ashes like Xianyuan Gate. Chapter 5136. The world of massacre had completely fallen into the hands of Bairuyu. The other forces all expressed their allegiance. After Bairuyu took control of the entire world of massacre, she immediately changed the name of the Massacre Palace to the Massacre Empire. Even Lin Fei himself was a little surprised. It seemed that his in-name disciple Bairuyu had some big ideas. Thinking about it, it made sense. Bairuyu's strength had reached the level of 9 stars. Coupled with the Blood Sea Palace, she could unleash the combat power of a 9 stars peak. Most importantly, she had someone like him standing behind her. That was different. It was an absolute advantage. To Lin Fei, he had finally completed one of his missions. This mission had taken up some time. Of course, this time was nothing. To Lin Fei, it would pass in the blink of an eye. It all depended on what the reward was this time. He was looking forward to it. Ding! Congratulations on completing the mission. Lin Fei, who was sitting in the courtyard, finally heard the voice that moved him the most. It was the voice of the system. Reward obtained. Ancient, eternal body has leveled up. Reward obtained. Upgraded, reincarnation formation. The 2 rewards finally arrived. Actually, this kind of reward, especially the first one, was within Lin Fei's expectations. However, what surprised him was that he actually got a reward. Moreover, it was the upgraded version of the reincarnation formation. This made Lin Fei overjoyed. After all, he had seen how powerful the reincarnation formation was. With a thought, his eternal infinity was leveled up. Previously, it had already reached the 4th level. Now that it had leveled up, it would reach the 5th level. At this moment, Lin Fei could clearly feel that his body seemed to have a trace of the eternal realm. This was a trace of eternity. Although it wasn't too obvious, it did indeed have a trace of eternity. This was a brand new life form. Of course, Lin Fei knew that above the 9 stars was the 10 stars realm. Above the 10 stars was the eternal realm. Eternity was extraordinarily powerful. It was said that it had already reached a new life form. This kind of life form was incomparably powerful. Just look at the dragon race, because the dragon race had eternal life forms. Naturally, no one dared to offend the dragon clan. An eternal could easily destroy a minor world, a major world, or a high-level world. There was no record of what an eternal being looked like. After all, no one would leave such a record. And now, even if no one told Lin Fei, he seemed to know how powerful an eternal being was. He was already half a step into eternity. Right now, his immemorial eternal realm had already reached level 5. There were only 5 levels in total. If he wanted to continue leveling it up, he would need a certain amount of opportunities or rewards from the system. Lin Fei was leaning towards the latter. The latter was naturally a little different. Fortunately, Lin Fei was not worried about this. After all, he had gained a lot. He was now half a step into the eternal body. The strength of this body had already reached the level of 10 stars. Previously, Lin Fei was already very strong. However, he had not reached the level of 10 stars. But now he had. Previously, when he fought with Shursen, although his body was strong, it did not feel like an eternal body. He did not even have a trace of eternal body. Lin Fei's body was different. This reward was really heaven-defying. Then, Lin Fei looked at the other reward. This reward was the upgrade of the reincarnation formation. At first, he thought that it would make the reincarnation formation even stronger. In the blink of an eye, Lin Fei found out that he could cultivate from 10 reincarnation spirits to 99 reincarnation spirits. There was a huge change. Such a change shocked even Lin Fei. This reward was really shocking. As expected of the system, there was nothing it couldn't do. I reckon that even the Reincarnation Emperor did not expect his reincarnation formation to reach an even higher level and reach 99 primordial spirits. Lin Fei could not help but laugh. 99 primordial spirits was different. 10 primordial spirits was already scary enough, let alone 99 primordial spirits. However, the system did not reward him with 99 primordial spirits at once. Instead, Lin Fei had to cultivate them slowly. This would take some time. This time was nothing to Lin Fei. 99 primordial spirits should be able to cultivate in a place where time was accelerated in less than a few decades. Ding! Triggered mission. Do you want to accept? Lin Fei did not think too much about it and chose to accept it. Ding! After inheriting the Reincarnation Emperor's legacy, you have to lead the Reincarnation Emperor's sect again. Lead the sect to become the strongest force in this universe. Reward unknown. This mission was a little too sudden. Lin Fei was a little stunned. This was thinking too highly of him to become the strongest force in this universe. Chapter 50-137. Lin Fei was surprised to receive such a mission. Of course, it was also because he had some motivation. He hadn't had any big ideas all along. For example, this time was the same. He hadn't expected to receive such a huge reward. Not to mention anything else. Just helping Bairuyu complete the mission had given him such a huge reward. It was a double reward. One was that his divine body had reached level 5 perfection. The other was a reincarnation primordial spirit. No matter which reward it was, Lin Fei was very satisfied. Although this mission was a long-term one, there wasn't any time limit. This was still a challenge for Lin Fei. He was looking forward to what kind of reward he would receive. Perhaps after receiving this reward, he would be able to become an eternal existence. Just like now, even Lin Fei himself had a trace of eternal aura. However, in the blink of an eye, he sealed it away. No one could sense it. Only those who had cultivated a trace of eternal aura would be able to sense it. No one else could sense it at all. What Lin Fei had to do now was very simple. He had to cultivate this reincarnation primordial spirit. It was difficult to cultivate from 10 reincarnation primordial spirits to 99 reincarnation primordial spirits. Therefore, it would take time. Lin Fei had to find a time treasure to cultivate it. Moreover, he had taken down the Xianyuan gate this time. Naturally, he had obtained a lot of universe godstones. With these cosmos godstones, Lin Fei would be able to do many things. For example, cultivation. Half a year later, the entire Massacre Empire was in a stable state. Bairuyu's strength could finally erupt out to the level of a perfect 9-star expert. Of course, at this level, it would take a certain amount of time to increase it further. This would take a long time. Of course, it wouldn't be troublesome for Bairuyu. During this half a year, almost no one dared to have any ideas. Master, are you really going to leave? Don't you intend to stay a little longer? Bairuyu had been waiting for the day to leave. In the past 6 months, Bairuyu had more or less known about it. Once he was more or less stable, his master would leave. Just focus on running your empire of massacre. It doesn't matter if you do things slowly, as long as master is behind you, and as long as you don't cause too much trouble, they will naturally be afraid of you. After all, the news of my battle with Dragon Shur-san of the Dragon Clan has spread, and it has some influence in this universe. The news of his battle with Draconic 13 of the Black Dragon race had indeed spread. After all, there were still some experts in the Bloodshed universe who had more or less noticed it. The collapse of the Xianyuan gate shocked countless people. Naturally, the news spread out. More people knew of the existence of such a person. As for how much he knew, he probably didn't know much. As long as one knew of such a person, they would naturally be wary of him. Everyone knew this. Even Draconic 13 and the experts of the Black Dragon race couldn't defeat him. It was basically a draw. Otherwise, with the temper of the dragon race, they wouldn't have left just like that. Moreover, the Black Dragon race was always belligerent. The Black Dragon race was best at war. Once a war broke out, they would be the most powerful opponent. But this time, they actually left just like that. It was either a defeat or a draw. They most likely believed that it was a draw, which was in line with the temper of the dragon race. Master is just going out for a walk and to look at this universe. You just need to cultivate well. Don't be negligent. Who knows, one day, I might recruit a disciple faster than you. That would be a little embarrassing for you. Before Lin Fei left, he handed 3 sealed powers to Bairuyu. The 3 sealed powers were exceptionally strong. Once they burst out, they would reach the level of 10 stars. With these 3 powers in the hands of Bairuyu, Bairuyu could naturally avoid a lot of threats. This was the only thing that Lin Fei could do. Just like that, Lin Fei left quietly. Bairuyu watched as he left. In the end, he completely left. I will definitely not dishonor Master's name. Bairuyu's thoughts became exceptionally different. Of course, it was more of a goal. The slaughtering empire was just the first step. Bairuyu wanted to let Master know that this nominal disciple could become a real disciple in the future. This was the only thing that Bairuyu wanted to do at the moment. From a nominal disciple to a real disciple, and even to a big senior sister. Lin Fei left the slaughtering universe and went straight to the nearest great world. Only in the great world could one find the world building. Only in the world building could one learn some information about time treasures. Chapter 5138. The world that Lin Fei arrived at was called the Muyin world. It was considered a big world. There were many experts here, and some of them even had 1 foot in the 10-star realm, which was half a step into the 10-star realm. This kind of person was extraordinarily powerful. Not everyone could stand up to him. No wonder there was a world tower here. Once he arrived here, Lin Fei arrived at the world building. There was a lot of information in the world building. He was prepared to buy information about time treasures here. He wanted to see if there was a place that could use such time treasures. Treasures like this weren't something that just anyone could possess. Only those supreme beings who had mastered the art of time could create something like this. With such a treasure of time, he could cultivate on his own. At the very least, he had to get the 99 reincarnation primordial spirits out so that he could unleash his combat power. That would be terrifying. Even if a peak 10-star were to come, it would be useless. I want to know the whereabouts of the time treasures. Where can I cultivate and speed up time? Lin Fei came to a small private room inside. This was a more advanced place, but the cost was not low. Not everyone could afford it. Fortunately, Lin Fei had collected a lot of cosmic divine stones recently. Moreover, Bairuyu had sent most of the cosmic divine stones at the Xianyuan Gate. Lin Fei was quite wealthy at the moment. Fellow Taoist, please wait a moment. I will help you check immediately. There will be news very soon. Dozens of breaths later, the man returned with a document in his hand and placed it on the table. This is the information we found. There are a total of 10 forces. You have to pay a total of 1 million cosmic divine stones. This price was within Lin Fei's expectations. He casually transferred 1 million cosmic divine stones to the man. Then he received this document. This document was very detailed. Of course, this document could only be used once. It would be destroyed after he read it. This was because the information here was like this. One would never be allowed to bring it out. Of course, it was a different matter if it was left in one's mind. If it was a copy, it would be destroyed automatically after one read it. Information became extremely valuable. After reading the message, only he would know. There were quite a few places introduced on it. Every place was very detailed. Lin Fei also knew that the 1 million cubic meters of universe godstones he had spent was worth it. It didn't take long for him to finish reading. There was only one place worth visiting, which was the so-called Sky Island. There was a time formation on this island that could accelerate time. Of course, it would cost a lot of cosmos godstones. Do you have more information about this paradise island? Lin Fei naturally wanted to learn more about this Sky Island. Although the information above seemed to be more detailed, it was far less detailed than what Lin Fei had in mind. We have news about this Sky Square Island. It's selling for 2 million cubic meters of cosmos godstones. This Sky Square Island belongs to a 10-star expert. Information was indeed more expensive. Lin Fei did not hesitate. He paid another one, 5 million cubes of universe godstones, and finally obtained the information on the Sky Island. This time, the information was more detailed. It could be said that it was more valuable than before. This was the world building. As long as one had universe godstones, one would naturally be able to find out a lot of information. A lot of this information was useful and very valuable. After reading it, Lin Fei confirmed that he wanted to go to this Sky Island. Therefore, he left this world. Lin Fei headed straight for the Sky Island. This place was considered a special place. Anyone could go there to cultivate. However, the prerequisite was that one had enough universe godstones. Without enough universe godstones, one would not be able to cultivate. That place was considered a neutral place. After all, the owner of that place was a 10-star expert. Although he had not appeared for a long time, no one dared to doubt the combat power of a 10-star expert. Moreover, The other party had the ability to control time. One could say that such a person was very powerful. One could see a person's future. As for how far, it depended on the other party's strength. No one was willing to offend such an expert. He rushed all the way here. It had really taken a long time. He spent more than half a year to reach this sky island. Naturally, he spent a lot of universe godstones. He spent a total of 3 million cubic meters of universe godstones. Without money, he would not be able to reach this sky island even if he flew for 100 years. Therefore, even if one knew about this place but did not have money on hand, one could only look on helplessly. One could only look on helplessly. Naturally, it was not Lin Fei's character to spend more than 100 years to travel. Therefore, he used universe godstones and took the teleportation formation all the way here. Even so, he spent more than half a year. Chapter 5139. Naturally, he had spent a lot of money on this journey. Fortunately, he had finally arrived at the Sky Island. The Sky Island was located on a boundless ocean. There were only 6 islands. The 6 islands surrounded a big island in the middle. This was the Sky Island. This place wasn't easy to come to. Only those who had a certain level of strength could come to this area. Without a certain level of strength, one wouldn't be able to pass the small test on the outside. There was indeed a test on the outside of the island. Only those who had reached a certain level of strength could come in. This test was nothing to Lin Fei. He easily entered the Heavenly Square Island. The moment he entered, he felt that the time here was really different from the outside world. The speed was slower. No wonder everyone liked to come to the Sky Island. Of course, if one wanted to cultivate here, it would naturally be different. After staying in the inn, Lin Fei found out where the cultivation area of the Sky Island was. It was a huge mountain in the distance. There were many caves on the mountain, and each of them was a special space. Once they were inside, they could start cultivating. In the early stages, one had to have enough universe godstones. Even if one didn't have enough universe godstones, it didn't matter. One just had to sign a contract with the Sky Island to help them complete a mission within a certain period of time. It was that simple. Of course, it depended on one's strength. At most, one could complete 3 missions. There were all kinds of missions. The appeal of the Sky Island was very strong. Lin Fei compressed his strength to the level of 9 stars. After all, he was already very strong. He didn't want to be too conspicuous. Therefore, he controlled his aura to the level of early 9 stars. This was also the most common level. Everyone loved to find a place where time was accelerated to cultivate. The moment Lin Fei entered, someone came over immediately. One look, and he recognized that this was an early 9 stars expert. Fellow Daoist, welcome to our Heavenly Square Island. I wonder if you're here to cultivate or refine celestial weapons. We have a secret chamber for both. Lin Fei had already understood a little when he was outside. Therefore, he was very clear about the situation here. He decided to understand more. I'm here to cultivate. I want to go into seclusion. What's the price of your secret chambers? You can go to many places. Our heavenly island is completely different from other places. If you cultivate here, as long as you have cosmos godstones, you can enter different times. We have 4 levels here: heaven, earth, black, and yellow. The lowest level is the yellow secret chamber. The time acceleration here is only 120. For the profound level chamber, it's 1 to 30. For the earth level chamber, it's 1 to 50. And for the heaven level chamber, it's 1 to 100. There was a definite difference in the speed at which time flowed, especially the heaven level secret chamber. 1 day inside was 100 days, and 1 month outside was nearly 8 years inside. Cultivating in seclusion here for an entire year was almost equivalent to 90 years, close to 100 years. That was pretty good. For Lin Fei, it was about enough. 10 years here would be equivalent to hundreds of years of cultivation. I don't know which secret chamber you'd like to cultivate in, but we only have 3 secret chambers of the Xian, earth, and yellow levels. As for the heaven level, sometimes there are a lot of people, but it depends on luck. Recently, there happened to be a heaven level secret chamber that was vacant. Naturally, Lin Fei wanted a heaven level chamber. He did not think too much about it. I wonder how much it costs to cultivate a heaven level chamber. We charge 3 million cubic meters of cosmos godstones per month. If it's a year, we charge 40 million cubic meters of cosmos godstones. This price was indeed quite expensive. After all, it was not easy to get a cubic meter of cosmos godstones. Moreover, it would cost 40 million cubic meters per year. Fortunately, Lin Fei had brought enough cosmos godstones. Then give me 5 years first. Lin Fei did not think too much about it. He decided to give it 5 years first. He should be able to cultivate 99 primordial spirits in 5 years. 5 years in the outside world was equivalent to more than 400 years in the inside world. He did not believe that he would not be able to cultivate the remaining 99 primordial spirits in such a short time. If he could not cultivate them, it would be a waste of time. No problem, no problem. I will help you register now. The person in charge of reception had a smile on his face. He did not expect this initial 9 stars cultivator to be a nouveau riche. 5 years was equivalent to 200 million cubic meters of cosmos godstones. Not many people could afford it. Which family did this young master come from? Fortunately, he did not delay at the start. Otherwise, this big business would have slipped away from his hands. A big customer could cultivate here for 5 years. In the future, he might even stay for 10, 20, or even 50 years. He was definitely a big customer. Chapter 5140. 200 million cubic meters of universe godstones wasn't much. This time, Lin Fei brought more universe godstones with him. After all, the Shenyuan Gate was rich and almost all of its wealth was in Lin Fei's hands. He booked 5 years of time. After cultivating for 400 years, he would be able to cultivate 99 primordial spirits. Very soon, he arrived at the secret room. This secret room was indeed different. The moment he entered, he felt that time had slowed down again. There was an obvious difference compared to the outside world. No wonder the heaven, earth, mystic, and yellow secret rooms were so different. It was really worth it. Lin Fei first checked the surroundings to make sure that there was nothing around. After confirming that it was safe, he set up an array. Then, he left behind a few streaks of his power. If he left these powers here, even if he had any ideas, he wouldn't be able to do anything for a while. Lin Fei's combat power wasn't just an ordinary level of strength. Just like that, Lin Fei started to cultivate. This place was really not bad. The 11th primordial spirit took 10 years to cultivate. There was still a certain level of difficulty. The further he went, the longer the primordial spirit would take. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Time flowed by continuously every year. In Lin Fei's opinion, this 1-to-1 ratio of time wasn't that big of a deal. He immersed himself in the cultivation of the reincarnation primordial spirit. One by one, the primordial spirits were cultivated. His strength increased tremendously. From 10 primordial divinities to 20 primordial divinities, then 30 primordial divinities to 40 primordial divinities. Lin Fei cultivated all the way. The last 10 primordial spirits took the most time. After spending 200 years, Lin Fei finally reached 450 years. He successfully cultivated the 99 primordial spirits. It's not easy. It took me more than 400 years to successfully cultivate these 99 primordial spirits. And this is because the cultivation method I obtained is very detailed. If it was someone else, they might not be able to cultivate it even after spending at least 4,500 years. At the very least, it would take more than 10,000 years to cultivate 99 primordial spirits. Lin Fei couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Now that he had cultivated 99 primordial souls, he could feel that the samsara array was different. Furthermore, the 99 essence souls he had now surpassed the reincarnation emperor. Originally, I thought that the grand reincarnation array created by 99 primordial spirits was already terrifying enough. However, after actually cultivating it, I realized that it is even more terrifying than I had imagined. Once the 99 primordial spirits appear, they can instantly reduce the opponent's strength by 60 to 70%. The weaker opponents will have all their strength directly suppressed. Even if Lin Fei had not used the samsara ray, he could sense it immediately. When a 9 stars expert entered his reincarnation array, his strength would be suppressed instantly. At most, he would be left with 20 to 30% of his combat strength. Even if it was a 9 stars full circle expert, he would not be able to exceed 50% of his strength. He still had to use the array. If the 99 reincarnation primordial spirits were to attack at the same time, even a 9-star expert would be defeated without any ability to resist. Although the strength of the 99 reincarnation essence souls was not as strong as Lin Fei, they had inherited 60 to 70% of his combat strength. That was still very terrifying. In the remaining few decades, Lin Fei used it to consolidate the reincarnation essence souls. Their combat coordination became more tacit. When the time was up, Lin Fei walked out of the secret room. The 99 primordial spirits returned to his body. As soon as he came out, the person who received him last time immediately came to greet him. When he came to greet him, he instantly felt different. The person in front of him seemed to be full of danger. In any case, he was like a terrifying demon king. Congratulations on your great improvement. Even this person had never seen such a great improvement. There were many people in seclusion here, but it was rare for them to have such great improvement. This place is not bad for cultivation. I will come again when I'm free in the future. Lin Fei was quite satisfied with this sky island. Spending 200 million Cosmos Godstones was really worth it. At the very least, it allowed him to cultivate 99 essence souls. Fortunately, the system had upgraded this time. Otherwise, it would have been really difficult. I see that your strength has improved greatly. I wonder if you're interested in accepting a mission from our sky island. I can't believe I would encounter such a thing. Lin Fei was a little surprised. Is this how the sky island invites people to complete missions? He was not interested in ordinary missions. Now that he had 99 essence souls, Lin Fei was naturally different. Our mission to the sky island this time is different. It is to kill a 9 stars full circle sea beast in the depths of the ocean. It is the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. I heard that it was a young beast of the reincarnation emperor. Chapter 50-141. If it had been something else, Lin Fei definitely wouldn't have minded. However, when he heard about the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast, he instantly changed. This person also noticed the slight change and wasn't surprised at all. This was the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast, the mount of the reincarnation emperor. Naturally, it was different. You said that you're going to hunt this reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. Are you sure it's really a reincarnation heaven swallowing beast? Lin Fei had obtained the reincarnation emperor's cultivation method. Naturally, he knew some secrets, including his mount. It was the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. He heard that it was a special beast that was extremely powerful. His reincarnation primordial spirit was cultivated through this reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. As for whether it was true or not, no one knew. Anyway, this reincarnation heaven swallowing beast was extremely powerful. It was a relatively powerful existence among the beasts. It was said that when this reincarnation heaven swallowing beast grew to a certain extent, it could also display the same strength. It could swallow a world or even a major world in one bite. Of course, this was just a legend. No one knew about it. It was just a rumor. It was said that in the ancient times there was indeed such a reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. It could swallow a world in one bite. It was extremely powerful. In the end, countless experts were mobilized to gather weapons and finally killed this reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. Now that he heard such news, Lin Fei was naturally moved. It seemed that he still lacked a stronger mount. This reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast could be used as a divine beast to protect the sect. Fellow cultivator, you didn't hear it wrong. It's true. This is a piece of news that our Sky Island finally got. We are recruiting experts from all over the world to kill this reincarnation heaven-devouring beast. This guy has reached the full closure of 9 stars. Maybe in a few hundred or even 10,000 years, he will become a 10-star existence. At that time, it will be a disaster. If the full circle of 9 stars was terrifying, then the 10 stars would indeed become a terrifying existence. It was no wonder that Sky Island would have such thoughts. Of course, Lin Fei believed that they had other plans. In other words, this reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast had other uses. After thinking for a while, Lin Fei knew their purpose. He was after the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast's monster core. It was said that one would be able to grasp divine abilities by mastering this demon core. Infinite samsara. Once this technique was cultivated, it would be exceptionally powerful. Not many people knew about such a secret. Only the Reincarnation Emperor had such information passed down to them back then. Not everyone could see it. We've already invited quite a few big forces to come over and kill this reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast together. There's still a lot of treasures in its lair. This person could clearly feel that the other party was a little moved, so he immediately spoke again. Of course, Lin Fei would not say that he also had feelings for this reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast. Originally, he was prepared to leave to search for the descendants of the Reincarnation Emperor to see if he could rebuild this faction. Right now, he had to take down the Samsara heaven-devouring beast first. Now that you've mentioned it, I'm also interested. Let's go and take a look. Although I can't do much, I still have some strength. Fellow cultivator, this is the best choice you've made because the Sky Island is really sincere this time. As long as you join us, you'll be able to cultivate in the secret chamber for free, ranging from 1 to 10 years. Just like that. Lin Fei followed this person all the way to another palace on Sky Island. There were some people in the palace, but their strength was not very strong. After Lin Fei came over, they registered and went through the test. Only those who had reached the advanced stage of 9 stars were qualified to go. Lin Fei suppressed his strength slightly and displayed the combat power of a 9 stars peak, which was quite strong. Therefore, Lin Fei was arranged to go out of the VIP pavilion. In addition to him, there were many 9 stars experts in the VIP pavilion. Although they did not come out, Lin Fei could feel their aura. Lin Fei stayed on Sky Island for a while. As for when he would start, Lin Fei was not in a hurry. This reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast could not run away. As long as it was still alive, he would subdue it. He had the means of the Reincarnation Emperor. The reincarnation spirit really contained such information. Only those who had cultivated the reincarnation spirit could have this reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast. This was more or less a surprise for Lin Fei. How could he reject a free gift? Wasn't it just Sky Island? It was not easy for him to cultivate the 99 reincarnation spirits. Naturally, he had to fight for it. It would be best if he could get it. Chapter 5142. This time, the Sky Island wanted to invite quite a lot of people. All of them stayed in the VIP pavilion. Lin Fei was the clearest about this. All the experts were at least in the late stage of 9 stars. Of course, some were at the peak of 9 stars. Among them, the least were at the peak of 9 stars. So far, there were only 9 perfect 9-star cultivators. Most of them were at the late stage of 9 stars. In a short time, there were at least 40 to 59 stars. There were more than 10 at the peak of 9 stars and 9 at the peak of 9,000. Such a lineup was really rare. Such a lineup was a strong deterrent against the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast. However, the Sky Island seemed to want to continue to invite these experts at the late stage of 9 stars to join them. Gradually, more and more people came. By the time Lin Fei realized it, there were more than 100 people. He had stayed in this VIP pavilion for almost a month. During this month, Lin Fei was quite relaxed. In the Sky Island, except for some places that they couldn't go, most of the places were open to them. They were experts at the 9 stars, and they had passed a small test. The weakest was at the late stage of 9 stars. During this month, Lin Fei also got to know some experts at the late stage of 9 stars. These people all had the same idea, which was to see the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast. They were really curious about this legendary mount of the reincarnation emperor. However, they didn't know much about it. Have you heard? This time, the Sky Island has really invited people from 3 big sections. I heard that each of the 3 big sects has sent an expert at the great perfection of 9 star. Moreover, all of them are at the half-step level. In a room in the VIP pavilion, a few people were sitting together and drinking tea. Among them was Lin Fei. A white-haired man suddenly said in a mysterious manner, "These 3 forces are definitely beyond your imagination. The first is the Holy Saber sect, the second is the Puppet sect, and the third is the Tianqing Empire." Sure enough, after this person finished speaking, the few people present were a little surprised. The Tianqing Empire, in particular, was definitely the rarest. This empire was a very powerful existence in the universe. They were even stronger than the puppets of the sacred Saber Gate. It was even more important to have a solid foundation. They once had an eternal level powerhouse. Even now, they were still a top-notch force, although they had gradually moved closer to becoming a first-rate force. No one dared to question their strength. Could it be that this reincarnation heaven-devouring beast is so valuable? Even the people from the Tianqing Empire have come. Who knows? Anyway, we're just going there to join in the fun. If we can get some benefits, it's fine. During this month, Lin Fei learned a lot of things. Therefore, he had some understanding of these 3 forces. The Holy Saber Gate naturally focused on the saber. As for the puppet sect, everyone cultivated some puppetry techniques. It could be said that the puppet sect was also very powerful. It would be embarrassing to go out without at least a dozen or more puppets. If these were powerful puppets, it would be even more frightening. What surprised Lin Fei the most was the Tianqing Empire. The Tianqing Empire was indeed the most famous among the 3 forces, and their influence was also great. Although they were the weakest among the top forces, no one dared to ignore their influence. It was said that the Tianqing Empire still had the means left by the eternal level powerhouse. As for how much power this technique could display, no one dared to test it out. Not even the top powers dared to do so. After all, this generation of the Tianqing Empire had 4 10-star powerhouses. No one dared to say whether they could reach the eternal level in the future, but the Tianqing Empire had a better chance than others. Anyway, when the time comes, we'll do our best. If we can't, we'll just stand aside. Don't delay ourselves. Lin Fei said faintly. The others also agreed with Lin Fei's words. Under such circumstances, they really wouldn't rush forward stupidly. As one of the mounts recognized by the reincarnation emperor, the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast was naturally different. If anyone were to be stupid enough to take it seriously, they would definitely suffer. Fellow Taoists, our preparations are almost done. You can come to the palace. Suddenly, a voice sounded in their hearts. All of them were surprised by the sound. More than that, they felt an inexplicable fear. This was the means of a 10-star powerhouse. Even a 9 stars full circle powerhouse could do this. Only a 10-star powerhouse could do it easily. Everyone stood up in an instant. They understood what was going on. It meant that they could set off. Everyone had more or less waited for half a month to a month. Lin Fei also stood up. We can finally set off. Chapter 5143. After waiting for a month, Lin Fei could finally see what the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast looked like. There was still hope. It would be great if his strength reached the great perfection realm. He would then have a free mount. Since he wanted to rebuild the reincarnation emperor's legacy force, there was no doubt that such a mount would be the most suitable. With this mount, he could tell everyone one thing. If the reincarnation emperor could appear back then, there would be a second reincarnation emperor. It was just that they didn't have the same name. Lin Fei had high expectations for the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. He came to the gathering place. He realized that all the 9 stars experts had come out. Most of them were at the late stage of 9 stars. Of course, there were some at the peak of 9 stars. The most powerful ones were at the full circle of 9 stars. There were also those from the 3 forces. Among the 3 forces, the most powerful one was from the Tianqing Empire. There weren't many people from the Tianqing Empire. There were only 2 of them, a young man and an old man. Lin Fei understood what was going on after taking a look. The old man should be a protector. The young man was from the Tianqing Empire. He was out for training. Even if he was out for training, he had the combat power of a 9 stars at the full circle. The strength he could unleash should reach the level of a 10 stars. He was definitely a strong master. On the other hand, the Sacred Blade sect was obviously much weaker than the Puppet sect. The people on their side were all young people. This could be considered as quite an experience for him. Lin Fei didn't care much about this. He just wanted to see the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. As for where exactly this guy was hiding, perhaps only the people of Sky Island knew. Not long after, a figure walked out of the void. When this figure walked out, everyone stopped what they were doing. The place was quiet. They all knew who this person was. He was the Deputy Island Lord of the Sky Island. There were 3 Deputy Island Lords in the entire Sky Island. This person was one of the more influential ones, and he usually showed up the most. The other 2 were usually busy with other things, so the number of times they could see each other was even less. Thank you, everyone, for being able to gather here this time. I would also like to thank the Sacred Saber sect, the Puppet sect, and the Tianqing Empire for coming. After all, this human reincarnation heaven-devouring beast is already very powerful. If we don't gather our strength, we won't be able to kill it. Although Island Master Luo Gu didn't say much, there was a hidden meaning in his words. This time he had to kill the samsara, heaven-devouring beast no matter what. They even announced that whoever contributed the most would be rewarded by the Sky Island. Of course, they could also call it a reward. Many of the 9 stars who were at the later stages of the 9 stars were instantly energized. At their level, if they wanted to improve their strength, they would have to spend more time and resources. On the Heavenly Island, they were able to maintain the time acceleration. If there was no time acceleration, it would take even longer. Perhaps his lifespan would be over before that day arrived, but it would be different if he could accelerate time. Therefore, any place with time acceleration was the place that the 9 stars experts were most willing to go to. A huge flying ship was released. Island Master Luo Gu led everyone up. The young man from the Tianqing Empire followed Laozi to the innermost level of the ship. Of course, the Sacred Saber sect, the Puppet sect, and some perfected 9 stars experts were also there. As for those at the later stages of the 9 stars and the pinnacle of the 9 stars, they were basically on the lower level. Wow! The speed of the flying ship was very fast, and it left the island directly. It left the island. It headed straight for the endless ocean. As for how far it was going, no one knew, because they hadn't heard anything about it until now. They were sure that the location of the samsara heaven-devouring beast should be very far away. In fact, everyone had guessed correctly. They had been flying for almost a month. The endless ocean was much more terrifying than they had imagined. The deeper they went, the more dangerous it was. From time to time, they would encounter some sea beasts. Some powerful sea beasts would even take the initiative to attack. Some of these sea beasts had the combat strength of the pinnacle of the 9 stars. Although they were terrifying, the people who controlled the flying ship were quite skilled, so they could avoid them all the way. If I'm not wrong, we should have reached the end of the endless ocean this time. I heard that it's called the Endless Ruins. Many people gathered together, and some smart people could more or less guess the destination of this trip after seeing the changes in their surroundings. The Endless Ruins? Is it the Land of Infinity? I heard that the Land of Infinity used to be the most powerful place in the past. Chapter 5144. The sight of the Endless Ruins instantly moved everyone a little. Even Lin Fei had more or less received some news about it. In the past, this Endless Ruins was a powerful empire. It was extremely strong, and its overall strength was unbelievably strong. After that, it turned into ruins in a single night. After that, it became a place where some powerful exotic beasts lived. No one was willing to cross the ocean to reach the Endless Ruins. Of course, only those who were powerful would come here. Even if you were at the later stage of 9 stars or at the peak of 9 stars, you wouldn't dare to enter the Endless Ruins recklessly. They seemed to finally understand why the Sky Island had gathered so many experts this time. It would be impossible to defeat it with only a dozen experts, not to mention returning safely from the Endless Ruins. If we really go to the Endless Ruins this time, we have to be careful. Don't get killed by those exotic beasts. I heard that the exotic beasts there hate humans the most. No wonder the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast would appear there. I heard that the exotic beasts there discriminate against humans. Everyone more or less knew something about the Endless Ruins. Lin Fei could hear them quite clearly from the side. In his heart, he had a better understanding of the Endless Ruins. He didn't know a lot of things, but he did know a little. Now that he heard about the Endless Ruins and thought about the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast, he seemed to understand why the Sky Island had gathered so many people. They definitely didn't have the confidence to gather so many people. It was very likely that it would be a very dangerous trip. Another month passed. Over the past month, everyone had experienced the dangers of the endless ocean. Sea beasts attacked them from time to time. The most powerful one they encountered was at the peak of 9 stars. Almost everyone on the scene took action to kill the 9 stars oceanic beast. If they hadn't joined forces, they wouldn't have been able to kill the 9 stars oceanic beast in a short time. Sea beasts that had reached this level were extremely powerful. Most importantly, their defense was also extremely strong. It was even more difficult to kill them. This was also the reason why 1 or 2 9 stars experts didn't dare to enter the Endless Ruins. Even if one entered, there was a high possibility that one would die. The dangers of this place were more terrifying than one could imagine. I see the continent. I finally see the continent. Over there is the Endless Ruins. Do you see that? The ruins are different. Even if it has collapsed, you can still see the glory of the past. After 2 months, they finally arrived at the end of the endless ocean. A large continent appeared in front of them. However, it was different from what they had imagined. This continent was filled with ruins. All the ruins were densely packed, and even some of these tall buildings could still be seen. As expected of the most powerful place, everyone came to the deck and saw it very clearly. Lin Fei saw it too. He could even vaguely sense a powerful aura from the endless ruins. After all, he was different from the others. He cultivated the reincarnation primordial spirit. However, the reincarnated primordial spirit was naturally different. Moreover, he had cultivated 99 of them and could sense those powerful existences. He further understood that the Sky Island must have known about the situation in the endless ruins long ago, which was why they had gathered everyone to kill the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. Many people know that the endless ruins is in front of our destination this time. The endless ruins used to be the place where a powerful empire used to be. Now it has turned into ruins. However, it has been occupied by exotic beasts. The endless ruins opened up many passageways that lead to different worlds. Therefore, everyone must be careful when entering the endless ruins. Island Master Luo Gu also walked out, and his voice echoed in everyone's hearts. He was a 10-star expert, so he was naturally different. Here is a document. You can have a look at it to understand the endless ruins better. The reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast that we're going to kill this time is in one of the regions in the endless ruins. It is the king of this region. Soon, everyone received a jade talisman in their hands. This jade talisman contained information that could only be used once. After reading it, the jade talisman broke, and they knew the situation inside. Lin Fei also saw the information inside. It was really as he had expected. The reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast had become a powerful overlord in the endless ruins. Let's take a break for now. When the time comes, we will go straight to the base camp of the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast. At that time, we will set up a great array and kill it. We have to end the battle quickly in the endless ruins to avoid any unforeseen events. Everyone could hear that Island Master Luo Gu's words carried a certain amount of pressure. In other words, the endless ruins was far more terrifying and dangerous than they had imagined. Chapter 5145. This endless ruins was indeed full of ruins. Of course, there were also some threatening auras. Lin Fei didn't feel the existence of the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast. However, he believed that since the people of Sky Island said so, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. That beast should be on this continent of ruins. The deeper they went, the more Lin Fei could feel the dangerous aura. He didn't have to guess to know that those guys should be deep inside. Sky Island was quite capable. They must have put in a lot of effort to deal with the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast. Fortunately, he caught up this time. Otherwise, it would have been too late by the time he received the news. He wouldn't have been able to get this thing at all. But now it was different. With the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast, it was like adding wings to a tiger. This thing was said to be a powerful existence of the space system. In other words, it was quite fast. This thing was faster than using other things. This thing was very domineering. It was most suitable to be used as a facade. A good facade was still very important. Although Lin Fei didn't really care about this in the past, now that he had accepted a mission. Naturally, he had to show off his facade. He could only say that it was hard on these guys. They would have worked hard for nothing. They didn't rest for long. Everyone set off again. This time, they didn't take the flying boat. They didn't need to guess to know what was going on. This thing was a little big, so they could only go along one path. The way was very safe. They didn't encounter any danger. That meant that many people of Sky Island had come here. After entering one of the areas, a wave of pressure enveloped them. They could all feel it clearly. This should be the legendary reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast. And Lin Fei, who was in the crowd, also felt the aura. He was slightly delighted. He also knew what was going on. There is indeed a reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast here. This reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast should be stronger. Even Lin Fei felt so. It was definitely a very powerful existence. It wasn't a simple reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. Maybe it could really reach the 10-star realm soon. Only a 10-star realm could give Lin Fei pressure. Anything else could only be put aside. This is a sword treasure. There are many powerful exotic beasts in the endless deep ruins. These exotic beasts are very powerful, so we have to conceal our auras. If they sense us, they will definitely chase us immediately. Island Master Luo Gu's words caused everyone's thoughts to change. Following that, a treasure appeared in everyone's hands. It was a treasure similar to a ball. As soon as he activated it, it actually formed a shield-like existence. As soon as he opened it, his aura was sucked in. Everyone had one. This treasure's quality was not low, and some people were a little surprised. All of the 9 stars experts had seen good things, but they had never seen anything like this before. As expected of the Sky Island, he wondered which expert they found to refine it. All right, everyone can activate this thing. After activating it, follow me into the lair of the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast. Its lair is deep underground. After Island Master Luo Gu explained a few more things to everyone, a protective barrier appeared around his body. Then, all of them activated the protective barrier one after another. As soon as the protective barrier was activated, everything was isolated. Although they could feel that there was someone in front of them, they could not see it with other methods. They could only see it with their eyes. It was the same for Lin Fei. He activated the ball directly. However, the moment he activated it, he frowned slightly and returned to normal. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. He looked like he was thinking about something. There is something wrong with the Sky Island and the Island Master. As soon as Lin Fei activated it, he instantly felt that there was something wrong. An inexplicable force seemed to have locked onto him. This force was coming from the ball. This was the first time that Lin Fei had encountered such a situation. However, he knew what was going on. Perhaps he had encountered something that wasn't very good. I want to see what tricks the Sky Island is playing. No wonder they need 9 stars experts this time. It seems that the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast is not as easy to deal with as I had imagined. The Sky Island had a relatively large influence in the universe. It seemed that there was nothing wrong with its way of doing things. However, when everyone had such a treasure, Lin Fei felt that something was different. The difference was very obvious. There was only one possibility. The reincarnation heaven-devouring beast was more terrifying than he had imagined. Even the Sky Island was not confident of dealing with it. Therefore, he could only ask them to come. All of a sudden, Lin Fei's impression of the Sky Island changed greatly. Chapter 5146. After obtaining these pearls, everyone's aura was restrained. They could only see it clearly when they were in front of them. If they were far away, they wouldn't be able to sense it at all. Therefore, they didn't encounter any danger along the way. Soon, they arrived at a large stretch of ruins. A silhouette quietly emerged from the ruins. After communicating with Island Master Luo Gu, he opened an entrance in a nearby place. The entrance was very big, like a sinkhole. One could imagine the huge body of the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. Island Lord Luo Gu said to everyone. However, he didn't make any sound. He just spoke in everyone's heart. It seemed like he was worried that the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast would notice. The lair of the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast is below us. Everyone follow me. This guy spends most of his time sleeping inside. Therefore, as long as we grasp the timing, we will naturally be able to get him to take it down. When the time comes, everyone will have to listen to my commands. Oh, by the way, let me tell everyone that this pearl has an additional attack. When the time comes, everyone will have to work together to cast it. In that case, we will be able to catch the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast unprepared. At this time, Island Master Luo Gu spoke again. Everyone suddenly understood. They had always felt that this pearl wasn't as simple as they had imagined. They hadn't expected that it would contain an attack. After Island Lord Luo Gu said that they felt that it was really as he had said. There was really an unbelievably powerful force inside the pearl. This powerful force was extremely penetrative. They also understood that Sky Square Island had put in a lot of effort to deal with the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. If they hadn't put in a lot of effort, how could they have gotten so many pearls? At this moment, they finally understood. Only Lin Fei was laughing in his heart. This Island Lord Luo Gu was really good at talking. He had fooled everyone. Now, they were even more certain that the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast below wasn't as simple as a 9 stars expert. It was extremely likely to be a 10 stars expert. At this level, it was definitely a ferocious existence. However, they didn't know why the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast wouldn't run to the other side of the ocean. Logically speaking, if this guy had such strength, he would definitely leave. After all, once he reached this realm, he would not be far from taking human form. Island Lord Luogu led everyone into the huge pit. Along the way, they saw many skeletons. These skeletons were all quite old and very large. One could imagine that they were all very powerful existences when they were alive. In the end, they were all eaten by the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast. Exotic beasts eating exotic beasts was a very common thing. No one was surprised. Along the way, they reached a height of about 1,000 feet. When they reached the bottom, they found that there was a huge pit. Inside the pit, they heard a sound. It was the sound of snoring. This shout was very loud, and the entire void began to tremble. When they first came down, they were really shocked. Before they even saw the samsara heaven-devouring beast, they could already sense how powerful it was. Island Master Luogu's speed had also slowed down, and the same was true for the others. After walking for a while, he finally saw a huge figure. It was truly enormous. It was no wonder that it had found such a big place to make its lair. At first glance, Lin Fei was very sure that this was the legendary samsara heaven-devouring beast. It was as powerful as he had expected. However, its strength was not at the level of 9 stars. Instead, it was at the level of 10 stars. The samsara heaven-devouring beast seemed to have hidden its strength. Only Lin Fei had been able to see it clearly at that moment. Island Master Luogu's voice rang out in everyone's minds. Everyone was really shocked at this moment. It was no wonder that so many people had gathered to kill it. Even though they had yet to make a move, they could already feel how powerful the samsara heaven-devouring beast was. It was an invincible and powerful existence. At this moment, there would only be one outcome for anyone who fought against the samsara heaven-devouring beast alone. That was to be eaten. This is the infamous heaven-devouring reincarnation beast. What we need to do now is to unleash our strongest attack in an instant. Inside the orb is a technique that I found an expert to set up. Thus, I hope that everyone will cooperate. As long as we can severely injure the samsara heaven-devouring beast, this treasure pearl will be given to everyone. It can be considered a simple greeting gift. Everyone had experienced the function of this treasure pearl, not to mention its explosive power. All of them had different thoughts. With such a technique, it should be much easier for them. Listen to my call later. Activate the treasure pearl together. Chapter 5147. At this moment, everyone was eager to give it a try. This was the real reincarnation heaven-devouring beast. One could imagine its true might from its huge size. However, they heaved a sigh of relief when they thought about how many of them had come. As long as they worked together and used their pearls, they should be able to take down the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast without much pressure. It was the same for Island Lord Luogu. At this moment, he was more excited than anyone else. His eyes fell on the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast, which was not far away. After some preparation, he immediately gave orders to everyone. I'll count to 3. Everyone attack together. Don't give the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast any chance to attack. Once it attacks, none of us will have a good time. 3, 2, 1. At this moment, everyone activated the pearls in their hands. As soon as they activated the pearls, a beam of light shot out. Everyone could feel that this beam of light was different. Then, this beam of light converged and turned into a terrifying attack. The attack landed on the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast. When it landed on its body, everyone could clearly feel how terrifying it was. However, what happened next left them in disbelief. This was because the attack was instantly swallowed by the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast. This was beyond their imagination. If it had been something else, they could have accepted it. However, this was something they couldn't accept. Their powerful attack had actually been absorbed by the samsara, heaven-swallowing beast. Furthermore, what was most unbelievable was that the samsara, heaven-swallowing beast had actually absorbed all of their attacks. What was even more unbelievable was that the power of their essence, spirit had been sucked away by the pearls. They couldn't get rid of the pearls in a short period of time. Who can tell me what's going on? Why can't I control the pearls in my hands? Why is the power in my body being sucked away? Me too. I can't control it anymore. Island Lord Luogu, please give us an explanation. How could these people have expected such a scene to happen? The power in their bodies was being sucked away continuously. His entire person was shocked, followed by a trace of panic. The reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast had already woken up and was looking at them. Whoosh! He immediately spat out a wave of flames. As soon as the flames were spat out, everyone instantly felt the aura of death. Luo Gu, who was at the forefront, coldly snorted. Today is the day you die. No one can save you now. The pearls in everyone's hands instantly flew towards Island Master Luo Gu. It transformed into a grand formation. Following that, a beam of light shot out from the array. In the face of this light, they could not clearly see its true appearance. They could feel that this attack was far beyond their imagination. The reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast also looked over. I know you'll come back, but don't even think about making me submit to you with such a trick, let alone killing me. You're still not good enough. Another wave of flames came directly. This wave of flames turned into runes. These runes exploded with superpower. Naturally, Lin Fei, who was in the crowd, could see the commotion better than anyone else. This reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast was indeed very strong. The combination of so many pearls was so powerful, yet it could still resist this attack. Island Master Luo Gu had really put in a lot of effort. At the very least, it had far exceeded everyone's expectations. Even Lin Fei was the same. This guy had actually used such a trick. Island Master Luo Gu laughed heartily. Since I dared to come, it means that I have the confidence to deal with you. Not far away, a figure flew out. It was the young master of the Tianqing Empire. The young master instantly controlled a treasure. This treasure was like an umbrella cover, which directly fell on the head of the reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast. It landed on it. The reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast instantly let out a sound. You're from the Tianqing Empire, yet you actually brought this heaven extermination umbrella here. Are you trying to suppress my strength? The reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast snorted coldly. A faintly discernible figure appeared above its head. As soon as the figure appeared, it punched the treasure. The laughter of the young master of the Tianqing Empire rang out from afar as well. Since I dared to come with Island Master Luo, I naturally have a way to deal with you. This garden is far more terrifying than you can imagine. Enjoy our treasures. The treasure instantly turned into a resplendent ball of light. As soon as the ball of light appeared, everyone felt as if their bodies had been imprisoned. They were unable to move at all. Island Master Luo Gu laughed heartily. Everyone's expression changed. At this moment, everyone's strength had been completely absorbed by the pearls. One by one, they fell down powerlessly. Chapter 5148. With the addition of Gong Jiuzhou, the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast was greatly affected. At the very least, Lin Fei could clearly feel that the combat power of the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast was immediately suppressed. It seemed that Gong Jiuzhou of the Tianqing Empire was still very powerful. If it was any other time, perhaps these people wouldn't have much of an impact on the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. However, things were different now. With the addition of Gong Jiuzhou and Island Lord Lugu, the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast was basically in a stalemate. Lin Fei didn't intend to use any tricks, But he could also feel that this might not be the true strength of the reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast. The reincarnation, heaven-swallowing beast should have other strengths. Otherwise, it would be too easy to deal with. After all, its strength had reached the level of 10 stars. Others might not be able to feel it, but Lin Fei could clearly feel it. That was definitely what was going on. Lin Fei didn't use any other tricks and just blended in with them. He wanted to see what kind of tricks Island Lord Luogu had. After all, Lin Fei had more or less seen some of Island Lord Luogu's tricks. These methods were still very powerful, especially the pearl in his hand. There were definitely other methods that could be used. At this moment, the pearl was still connected to him. Looking at the expressions of the surrounding people, he noticed that they all had the same expression. Swish! Suddenly, Island Lord Luogu activated his secret technique. Everyone felt that their essence, chi, and spirit were instantly plundered. Even their vitality was the same. One by one, the 9 stars experts fell down. In an instant, all their essence, chi, and vitality were plundered. Try Mad 1, Gad 2, Catch X. All of them lost their combat power. After falling down, they fell to their deaths on the spot. That scene was truly unbearable to watch, and there were many people who started cursing. Island Lord Luogu, you are too shameless. You actually used such a trick. I didn't expect Sky Island to use such a shameless trick. I will definitely expose you and let everyone suppress Sky Island. By now, these people already knew what was going on. They had been completely locked by the pearl and couldn't break free at all. All he could do was howl in grief and curse at the same time. Lin Fei was also mixed in with them. He also wanted to see what kind of means Gong Jiuzhou and Island Master Luogu had. The master of Luogu Island snorted coldly. Everyone will only know that our Heavenly Square Island has eliminated a 10-star reincarnation heaven-devouring beast, and you have only made a great contribution. No one will stand up for you. Just accept your fate. A bright light instantly appeared on Island Master Luogu's hand. As soon as this light appeared, it immediately emitted a terrifying aura. Island Master Luogu also looked at the Samsara heaven-devouring beast. In order to deal with you, I've put in a lot of effort. This time, I've found so many 9 stars experts. I'm sure they can seriously injure you. Island Master Luogu released the light from his hand. The light transformed into a beam of light that contained the terrifying power of death and destruction. It instantly reached the pinnacle of the 10-star level. This beam of light instantly hit the Samsara heaven-devouring beast. I knew that you despicable guys would use such means to find so many 9 stars experts as cannon fodder. However, I'm not that easy to deal with. The Samsara heaven-devouring beast laughed loudly. Then it opened its mouth and spat out a string of bells. Try Mad 1, Gad 2, Catch X. This string of bells wasn't very big. As the bells rang, it started ringing. Buzz! Bang! Bang! The 9 stars experts were the first to suffer. One by one, the figures were instantly blown up. In the blink of an eye, the 9 stars experts were no longer in existence. Meanwhile, Gong Jiuzhou and Island Master Luogu were instantly attacked. Their attacks were directly smashed by the power of the bells. A vacuum was formed in the surrounding area. Even so, this beam of light gave the Samsara heaven-devouring beast an extremely dangerous aura. Whoosh! While the Samsara heaven-devouring beast was resisting the beam of light, another beam of cold light instantly penetrated the body of the Samsara heaven-devouring beast. It was truly inconceivable. Everyone was surprised. Island Master Luogu also laughed loudly. I know that you are very powerful. However, this time, apart from me and Gong Jiuzhou, there is another good thing to deal with you. I wonder how we feel. Do we feel good? Gong Jiuzhou looked over coldly. At this moment, he seemed exceptionally proud of himself. At the very least, the Samsara heaven-devouring beast had been injured. Lin Fei, who was hiding in the crowd, had also witnessed the whole process. He couldn't help but admit that Gong Jiuzhou and Island Master Luo really had some tricks up their sleeves. They had even used such a big move. They had attracted the attention of the Samsara heaven-devouring beast. Then they had used another killer move which had seriously injured the Samsara heaven-devouring beast. Impressive, really impressive. Lin Fei felt that he had learned something new. Chapter 5149. Poison. You're truly vicious. To think that you would use such a top-tier poison. The Samsara heaven-devouring beast let out a blood-curdling screech as its entire body was filled with cracks. As these cracks grew larger and larger, a rancid odor began to waft out. As it turned out, the Samsara heaven-devouring beast had been poisoned. In the distance, a figure appeared. This figure coldly snorted at the Samsara heaven-devouring beast. My apologies, but you've been poisoned by a poison that I've specially researched to deal with you. You should know that not just anyone can research poisons for me. The Poison King, God, Absolute Heaven. You're an exception, understand? It was a black-robed figure. However, the moment the figure appeared, it was filled with a dangerous aura. Even the surrounding void seemed to have changed. Gong Jiuzhou and Island Lord Luo Gu began to distance themselves. They all knew how powerful this Poison King, God, Absolute Heaven was. He wasn't as easy to deal with as they imagined. As long as one got within range of him, they wouldn't even know when they had been poisoned. This person was just that hard to deal with. He only had the power of a perfected 9-star expert, but his craftsmanship was extremely formidable. Even a 10-star expert wouldn't dare to easily make things difficult for God, Absolute Heaven. He was truly invincible. Moreover, Isle Master Luo Gu had paid an enormous price in order to invite this fellow. It seemed that the price wasn't too bad. I underestimated you. I didn't think that this was all a feint. This is your most important killing move. But even if I'm heavily injured, the three of you shouldn't think about having an easy time. The Samsara heaven-devouring beast roared, its entire body transforming into a massive vortex. The appearance of this vortex caused the expressions of Gong Jiuzhou, God, Absolute Heaven, and even Island Lord Luo Gu to flicker. Island Lord Luo Gu in particular immediately recognized what sort of attack this was. This was the infamous Samsara of legends. Everyone be careful. Hold on for now. He definitely won't be able to use too much power. The Samsara spun. The heavens and earth instantly changed color. Even Lin Fei could sense how terrifying this Samsara was. The Samsara heaven-devouring beast techniques were truly formidable. This could probably be considered its strongest killing move. However, in Lin Fei's eyes, there were more or less some changes when he used it again at this time. This power did not seem to be as strong as he had imagined. If it was any other time, it would have been fine. But now it was completely different. It was truly dangerous. If nothing unexpected happens, the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast basically has no chance. This fellow is too arrogant. As expected of someone who once followed an emperor. If he's a little more serious, he might be able to sense that God, Lord, Absolute Heaven. Even Lin Fei was somewhat surprised by this God, Lord, Absolute Heaven. He himself did not sense the existence of this fellow. No one knew how it appeared. Lin Fei knew that this was definitely a treasure that he could use. This treasure should be a top-notch one. It managed to fool everyone, even Lin Fei himself. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed that Island Master Luo Gu had so many ideas. He had used so many 9-stars experts to unleash such a powerful move just to poison the reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast. And it had been poisoned with a poison that had been specially concocted. Just look at the reincarnation heaven-devouring beast right now. Its strength was constantly dropping. Even the wounds on its body were getting bigger and bigger. Thus, other than the first round of reincarnation that it unleashed, the subsequent rounds of reincarnation that it unleashed weren't all that powerful. There was a loud bang. The reincarnation heaven-swallowing beast's massive body crashed to the ground, causing the earth to tremble. Gong Jiuzhou, God, Lord, Absolute Heaven, Island Master Luo Gu, and the others landed on the ground. Even their faces were a little pale. His face was slightly pale. They had indeed withstood Samsara's attack just now. One had to admit that the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast's attack was extremely terrifying. I didn't think that I would be tricked by you three fellows after ruling over this area. How hateful! The reincarnation heaven swallowing beast was extremely weak and powerless, because this poison was extremely tyrannical. Even though he was a powerful existence, he couldn't bear it at all. Unfortunately, the samsara technique it had unleashed had no effect on these three fellows. The reincarnation heaven swallowing beast knew very well what the final result would be. Gong Jiuzhou heartily laughed. Island Master Luo, you're still the best. After all this planning, you've finally taken care of this fellow. It wasn't easy for us to kill this fellow. Just the thought of our harvest makes me want to laugh. In truth, we should really thank God, Lord, Absolute Heaven for this. Without his poison, we wouldn't have been able to capture this reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. All three of them seemed very happy now. They could finally take down this reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. Chapter 5150. The reincarnation heaven swallowing beast was seriously injured. The reincarnation heaven swallowing beast's killer move had no effect on the three of them at all. Instead, the poison had seeped into the beast's body even faster. It could be said that the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast was on its last breath. Island Master Luo Gu took out a ring. This shiny ring made the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast panic. You actually have the legendary beast ring. You guys really put in a lot of effort to find this thing. The reincarnation heaven swallowing beast was quite discerning. It was definitely not a good thing. Instead, it was a bad thing. Island Master Luo Gu laughed heartily. I didn't expect you to know about this thing. Since you know about it, that's great. I've meticulously prepared this thing for you. You can't die yet. You're still very useful to us. Luo Gu laughed heartily. Island Master Luo Gu naturally wouldn't kill the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast so easily. It would be a pity if he killed it. The reincarnation heaven swallowing beast was a very rare species. The ring on his hand swung. Suddenly, it became bigger and bigger. It appeared above the reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. Then it went down. The reincarnation heaven swallowing beast kept struggling. However, it couldn't resist the power of the ring at all. It was getting closer and closer to it. Utter despair. With a whoosh, a beam of light appeared without any warning and exploded on top of the ring. The ring was sent flying in the blink of an eye. A figure walked over from afar. The three of you are bullying a reincarnation heaven swallowing beast. Isn't that a bit too much? You even treated everyone as a sacrifice. What should I say about you guys? It turns out that the famous Sky Island is also unscrupulous in doing things. The three of them didn't expect that there would be people around. This was because they had set up a trap in this place. Outsiders couldn't come in at all. As long as someone approached, they would naturally be able to sense it. However, there was no movement at all. This meant that this person was mixed in with these people. Island Master Luo Gu squinted his eyes and looked at a young man. He had a slight impression of this young man. He was one of the people in this group. However, this fellow didn't seem to be affected at all. This caused Island Master Luo Gu to feel somewhat embarrassed. I didn't expect there to be a fish that escaped the net. Then I'll kill you first. Island Master Luo Gu waved his hand and two balls smashed over. These two spheres were like two gigantic planets. They grew bigger and bigger, and their power also grew stronger and stronger. A loud rumbling sound could be heard. Just this method alone was enough to instantly kill a 9 stars late stage and peak 9 stars. Even a full circle 9 stars would have to suffer. This island master Luo Gu's methods were truly formidable. At the very least, this method wasn't something that just anyone could resist. However, it was different this time when they encountered Lin Fei. Although the attacks of these two balls were fierce, the punch came. It was blocked by Lin Fei. He moved to the left and right. The two balls flew back. Once again, it fell into the hands of Island Master Gu. This caused Island Master Luo Gu's expression to change. This fellow actually has some strength. No wonder I misjudged him. Island Master Luo Gu's previous attack had revealed that this fellow was indeed quite strong. Otherwise, just this method alone would have been enough to cause a 9 stars expert to suffer, or even be killed. This sort of person was much stronger than he had imagined. No wonder he was able to blend in with the crowd. It turned out that he was also after the samsara heaven-devouring beast. It's just a small fellow. Let me take care of him. It just so happens that I've researched a new poison. I can let this fellow try it out. I'm just afraid that he won't be strong enough. If he's strong, it'll be the most obvious. God, Lord, Absolute, Heaven roared with laughter as he released the poison. When the poison came out, it was a black fog. In an instant, it enveloped Lin Fei. It transformed into a long black snake that coiled around Lin Fei. This long snake made of poison was really quite different. It seemed that God, Lord, Absolute, Heaven's methods were quite powerful. A sword light slashed out, like a flowing moon. The black snake died in an instant, and the poison was also destroyed in an instant. It didn't even reach Lin Fei. I know that you 3 are bullying him with numbers. Now I'll do the same. I'll let you see who's the strongest. With a whoosh, he released his primordial spirits. One by one, the primordial spirits walked out from behind him. A total of 99 primordial spirits. When the 99 primordial spirits walked out, they instantly transformed into the reincarnation formation. The formation opened. The strength of the 3 of them was directly reduced. His entire body trembled as if he had been stabbed by a knife. The pupils of the injured reincarnation, heaven-devouring beast instantly underwent a huge change. This is the reincarnation primordial spirit and 99 primordial spirits. Oh my God,